yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon.
Yeah, I love me some Pops Fan Marmalade. Dude, I don't think I can play the I don't think I can play the dope ass intro either. Can you play the dope ass? I can't play video clips, I don't think.
Why don't you? It's your intro isn't even in your studio, bro. You do that on your own. You've always done that on your own.
Okay, well let me see it. Let me see if I can do that and not.
Well, hello everybody in the chat because we're live.
Yes,
Hi.
we are.
Okay.
Okay,
Don't mind those two boomers.
I'm an
Somebody please
Xer,
write
dude. I'm an
beat
Xer.
No. You're boomering this.
I am
Maybe you're an
boomering.
Xer, but you are boomering.
Hey.
I am boomering this. I think it's actually
alone.
Coming soon to the theater.
It's alive. It's moving. It's coming this way.
What is up, everybody?
Oh, big ol' echo.
Big ol' echo. And yeah, and I can't. There I am. There we are. What up, everybody?
I was gonna say, Brian, let's be honest. You're the vampire in there, and I'm the werewolf.
Yeah, pretty much. although werewolves have always been my favorite monster. You know, if I could be any monster, it would be a werewolf for sure. Although vampires are pretty badass. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially the vampires and vampires.
Especially the vampires.
Especially.
It's my favorite vampire movie.
Yes. Yes.
Folks,
Folks, tonight we are going to be talking about John Carpenter's Vampires, which is probably the most divisive of the John Carpenter movies because it's one of those films you either love it or you absolutely hate it. I'm in the absolutely love it category.
Same here. I remember seeing it in theater.
That's why we're here.
Holy
Me
shit,
too.
this is so awesome.
Dude, I remember seeing that in the theater, and this is like, in the 90s, right? And so I'm all gothed out. I'm there with my date, and, she's a goth chick, and she's all gothed out. We come out of the theater, and people are doing this to us. Yeah, no, we loved it. We loved it to pieces.
Dude, my two of my favorite vampire movies are two of the, like, you could say Shun one, like they're pretty much the same. It's that and From Dusk Till Dawn. Vampires and From Dusk Till Dawn, like they both got criticized so much on the vampire set, but they're so goddamn good.
Yep.
Like I love the idea of like that's what I did with Blood Hunt, right? It's not the same type of vampire. We're talking about those other species which predates man, and that's what it was. Like at the end of the From Dusk Till Dawn, when you see the pyramid in the back, the Aztec type of like pyramid.
These are Aztec
to let you know that they've been here for a freaking long time. And that's what they technically let you know also with the vampire when he goes hide in the dirt and stuff like that. Like those people have been around for quite a bit.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna get into that. But first of all, let me introduce our guest, Margene Holden, who is Master Vampire number 5.
Are you sure it's 5? It might be 6.
I think it's. I could look it up.
I don't know. He wasn't sure.
Right
he pulled out 4 fingers, then he pulled out the thumb very slowly. To stop.
6, 5, 6 doesn't matter. One of them.
We know you're one of the. one of the master vampires in
Yes.
this movie. And one of the things I love about this is the fact that the master vampires are such spiffy dressers. Right?
Yeah.
Like they're all gothed out in like black velvet and just like looking fly.
But that's what
Yeah.
I like. It's like they're like they seem to be like bestial, you could say, right?
They're
But
not
the
going to
thing
pass
is-
for human.
But the clothing, they try to respect the romanticized version of the
Yes.
vampire, the classic version, by going like a bit
Yes.
more classic. That's like, and that's what
But
I
their
love about it.
behavior, yeah. But then their behavior, right? Like Jack Crow
They're monsters.
says,
Yeah.
like, you know, they're not going to like seduce you with like cheesy Euro trash accents.
Exactly, and that's what I like about it so much.
Yeah, that was a Sandy King decision. She's like, nah, my vampires got to be slick. They got to be
Right.
slick.
I'm gonna finish my dinner. I'm gonna get out the way and finish my dinner. You guys have fun. I'll be watching.
will.
Trust me. I'll
Okay.
be watching. You know.
We'll be here.
Martine, great to see you again,
Great
sweetheart.
to see you, Pops.
You bet.
We're here. We'll be
I'll
here.
talk to you soon.
Later.
And for those of you that aren't aware, like seriously, go to IMDb right now and put in Margene Holden and prepare to be amazed.
Oh, thank you.
Because, darling, you have been
Oh,
in a lot of films.
yes, I have. And it's funny because it's like, you know, when you're in the business and you're just, that's what you do, that's who you be on a day-to-day basis, you just don't even, it's just like, oh yeah. You know, like I was saying, oh yeah, I
Yeah, I
did
forgot
do
it was
Silent
that one.
Night, Deadly Night 4. Right. Forgot that one.
Oh,
Forgot that.
damn, it's true. I was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yes.
Shiva.
Right.
Shiva, you had
Oh,
four
yes,
arms.
right. I was Shiva.
Yes, you had 4 arms, yo.
I didn't say that. Oops. There goes my, you know. Yes. Who's Madness comic? Oh, yes. Films, TV, everything. Star Trek. Yep. Babylon 5. Yep.
Oh,
all
and
kinds of-
Babylon 5 Crusade, which was
Crusade.
heartbreaking for
Absolutely.
a lot of us Babylon 5
Mm.
fans because we got that dope a pilot
Yeah.
and we're like, oh, like I'm ready for this journey.
Yeah. So
I'm-
were we. So were we.
I can imagine. I can imagine that
It was
must have been
very
a
depressing.
disappointment. Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, damn, if that was depressing for me as a fan, how depressing is it for the people that are actually making the thing?
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, I understood, and we understood from the perspective of, you know, J. Michael Straczynski, the executive producer, when, you know, mid-season, the network's having meetings with them and like, hey, we want this kind of show. And he's like, hey, no. How about no? That's not what I wrote, and that's not what I'm going to produce. And I totally get it. It was like, you know, they so much want to really control what's coming out when, you know what, leave the creative people to do what the creative people do.
Thank you.
So that the essence and the energy is still intact, as opposed to, oh no, we're going to follow this formula so that we know that, you know, we're going to make our buck. It's like, hey, take a chance, because there are people that actually have a brain that want to see something different and creative.
And let the creative people do the creative
That's
things and
right.
make the creative decisions and let the
Yes.
suits be the suits.
Yes, let the suits be the suits. Like, come on now.
But that's the thing. They're always putting their fingers in the pie
Yeah.
because that way they could tell, you know, when they're watching the premiere with their girlfriend or their wife or their mistress
Right.
or whoever. Hey, see that?
That was me. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that load of crap. Yeah, that was you. Okay.
Oh, oh God, it was so much fun to. Oh,
There's a
is
lot of
it
movies that
the
got
horror
ruined because
movie
of that.
club without my man, my boy, and folks, your boy too, Matt Butch Cleaver-Bird. What is up, Matt? So glad you could join us, man.
Thanks for having me. How's it going?
Very good, Matt.
Totally good. You missed the entire conversation. We're almost done.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, well, yeah, the stream.
The
Right.
Sorry.
See ya, Margene. Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Margene.
Hey, how's it going, Margene? How you doing?
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Me too.
Yeah, before the stream, we were talking backstage, and yeah, let me just get this out of the way because something really freaky happened last night,
What the?
and Martine got a kick out of it too. I know
Yeah.
Pops
I gotta
got
hear
a
this.
kick out of it. Okay, so for the last couple of weeks, I've been doing because I always watch a horror movie before I go to bed. It's like a thing for me. It's how I power
Really?
down. Yeah, I make a big.
I power down and get my dream on.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's
Get
you
your
know,
freak on.
I've always
Mhm.
I've always felt at home with horror, and
Right.
so it's
It's your
like
safety blanket.
it's my safety blanket. And so I grew up, and I've got a little insomnia issue and everything. So I take my sleep meds. I take I make a big like sleepy time tea,
Mhm.
and I drink that, and I watch a horror movie. And so I've been like, well, let me work my way through like the lesser horror sequel franchises. And so I've been watching Children of the Corn 2 through 6 and Silent Night, Deadly Night. I was like, well, of course, I've seen the first one. 2, who hasn't seen 2, right? Garbage Day, right?
I don't think I did.
So I'm like,
haven't.
let me watch 3, 4, and 5. And so something very, very freaky happens. 4 is clearly one of those movies that was I don't know, probably a script for something completely unrelated to the franchise. They do this frequently with they did it with the Hellraiser sequels, for instance. They'll
Right.
take a script. I'm guessing this was a script called The Initiation, and so then they just called it, well, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4, The Initiation. And
Mhm.
and it's only tangentially about Christmas. But as I am watching the opening credits, something very, very wacky happens. First I see Maud Adams is in it. All right, love her.
Right.
Clint Howard, love me some Clint Howard. And who's that I see immediately under featuring? What are the odds? Slim and None.
Yeah. Slim to none, but that slight 1%. There it is.
Yup. And I have this weird thing in my life where if it's a matter of Slim and None, Slim wins the day. And I also have to notice that big ups to Brian Yuzna, because there's a Conan Yuzna here. I'm guessing that's his son. If he named his son Conan,
Right.
that's badass right there.
It's pretty
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah, it's very metal.
I gotta jump in here right now, give props where due.
Yeah.
Laurie's the one that brought Margene to the network, yo.
Oh, that's right. Big
girl.
love to Laurie.
Big love, Laurie.
There you
Is
go.
Path of the Pale Rider still in demand?
I don't think she was on Kickstarter, but we can still get you one if you want one. Count on it.
Yeah.
Just hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. No doubt. But yeah, you've been in like a lot of stuff. And one of the things that you're in is tonight's movie, which is John Carpenter's Vampires,
Yes.
which is based on, for those of you that aren't aware, it's
Cool.
based on a novel called Vampires by a writer named John Stakely. I don't know if that's like a pseudonym,
Probably.
right? But yeah, probably. But
Perfect.
the S in Vampires is spelled with a $sign
That's right.
because it's about the Vatican hiring hitmen, basically, to go and clean up their mess because they're the ones that created vampires.
Right.
And it's on a much bigger scale. There's a lot of globe trotting, and the only way you can kill the vampires is by firing this basically like a ballista, right? Like a giant crossbow that fires basically a stake that's like a sharpened baseball bat, and it goes into them, and then these like prongs go thunk like
Oh,
that, and then you have to pull them with a truck with a winch,
Yeah.
right? And this happens at the beginning of the novel. And one of the this is like in like a desecrated church, and the vampire is like grabbing onto both sides of like the stone wall and is digging furrows into like the stone wall.
The nails are just ripping off. Oh,
no, the nails are like it's the rock that's giving way. It's the rock that's giving way, not the vampires. Because the master vampires are indestructible.
That's right.
At least
until we're destroyed.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Until we're not anymore.
Exactly. But what's one of the rules of this of this movie? Never attack a master vampire at night.
Right.
That's right. Don't do it. It won't end well.
It won't end well. It's gonna get ugly.
All good vampire movies have their rules. You know what I mean? You gotta have the rules. All the good ones do. You know what I mean? This is one of those. This is one of those movies that a lot of people slept on and overlooked. You know, myself included. I went back and watched it again. Like, oh wow! I think, like I said before, I think it's James Woods' best movie and his best role.
Yes,
bar none.
Yep.
You know, he puts it all out there.
Sadly, it was also the last Carpenter big hit. Great movie.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
Well, look, this was
I don't
really
know for sure.
This was
look. Think about it. Go on IMDb and check his list.
Yeah.
Was it before Escape from? Was before Escape from LA?
It's after Escape, because after Escape from LA, the remake, right?
What about Mars?
He wanted to quit.
It's before Mars.
Yeah,
I like me some Mars though, dude.
He wanted to quit.
It has its, don't apologize.
And then they changed his mind, and he decided to do vampires, and that was his last big hit. And then he did the Ghost from Mars, which I also like.
Yeah, that one.
Then after that, he.
Vampires and Ghosts of Mars. Like I said, they're incredibly divisive amongst Carpenter fans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, like Ghosts of Mars, these two guys love Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah.
I'm in that as well.
What?
Sorry?
I'm in that
as well.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Wait, what?
I can't stand it.
You wouldn't recognize me.
I mean, I didn't care for it. But vampires? I keep telling, my friend Chris, by the way, Chris, if you're listening, much love to you, brother, thinking about you. He's just like vampires. It's like, it's got a Baldwin in it, and it's not even like one of the major Baldwins. I'm like, but it's got Daniel Baldwin. It's like, but Daniel Baldwin's
my pops always loved.
Awesome. In
my
this
pops
movie.
always about Daniel Baldwin.
He's hilarious.
It's okay. I prefer the two less known Baldwins.
Yeah.
Like, to be quite honest, like the one in Firefly, which one was that one?
Steven.
Not Stephen. Steven. Right. Yeah.
From Biodome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Ghost
of Mars, man. Just the concept alone, I thought it was dope.
No, but that's how they called them. Yeah.
Felt like Escape from LA, like in space. You know what I mean? That's why I liked it.
Well, the concept
is
great.
scary. Like, imagine going to fucking Mars and there's ghosts up there.
Well, it's not original.
It's not really ghost, but yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's
the Ghost of the Martians, right?
It's inspired.
It's an infestation. The way I got it, it seems to be like an infestation from the residue. It's kind of like a curse that's left behind from the people that died before. So it's like, imagine like the Earth got wiped out and people find our civilization, and what killed us starting to affect them.
Yeah.
Right.
Driving them rage and stuff. That's
like a virus.
It turns into automation. It's also like you find that in the Reapers and Firefly as well. It's pretty much the same premise.
The basic premise is really kind of stolen from a Mario Bava movie called Planet of the Vampires. And Planet of the Vampires is one of the films that was also the inspiration for Alien.
What?
That giant skeleton that they find. That's, I mean, folks, if you haven't seen Planet of the Vampires, go check that out, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, like this inspired this and that. It's just like very, very inspirational movie.
You mean like the jockey from Alien, like the jockey?
Oh yeah. They find a giant skeleton,
and he's in Prometheus too. He's a big dude, like what a like,
right.
Boom, boom. Yeah, that movie's dope too. I like Prometheus too. I wasn't crazy about it, but I also didn't understand the hate that it got, because I thought it was like good, goofy alien fun. Right. Yeah, it was full fun, dude. And like in retrospect, like I could go back even fucking Covenant, I can go back and be like, all right, this ain't so bad. But I mean,
it's Covenant. Then I went, yeah.
They shit the bed with that one.
yeah. Seriously, like Prometheus, I was like, I can deal with this. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like this.
Yeah. It was pretty
You know,
dope.
I like it. Like, but then the Covenant one, I was like, no, fuck this shit.
Well.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, don't worry. I checked with Margene. She's like me. She grew up with Richard Pryor, and
Okay,
so.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. By the way,
sort of like
her ears are safe.
I'm kind of sailory.
You know?
It's okay. I grew up with the same people, as you can see.
Yeah.
I'm pretty raw.
This is why we love you.
Yeah.
This is why we love you, homeboy. Pops, if you're there, I'm trying to share my screen, and it's there.
I'm trying.
Trying,
bro.
I'm trying.
Yeah, man. And this
really
movie's
hard.
a Western too, dude. It's
Yes.
a total modern
Oh, yeah.
Western.
Do you know
Gothic
why?
horror Western.
Do you
Southwestern.
know why?
Why is that?
Do you know why? So
No.
I had a conversation with John Carpenter one day because I was talking to him about directing. This was after we had done the film and we were already, it had already come out. And I was having a conversation with him over, at his house. And I was like, I think I want to direct. And he was like, then just do it. Right. And I was like, oh, yeah, says he, one of the greatest directors of all times. He's like, it's not that hard. And I'm like, yeah, for he who's not, is one of the greatest directors of all times. And he's like, Margene, I never wanted to do horror films.
Yep.
And I said, really? And he was like, I wanted to do Westerns.
Yep.
Howard Hawks.
Okay.
And this is what this is.
Oh, okay.
And
no,
that's
totally
what
is.
this is. But he got to do his Western through this, through making a vampire Western film. Because it is like you look at it and it's like, this is like the good, the bad, the ugly. This is like,
He said it in one of his interviews where he said that he wanted to quit after the criticism of Escape from LA.
But
he wanted to quit, like he was literally thinking of quitting. Vampires started. He came back to Vampire, and that's the thing that he said because he got to do his Western.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up in the 90s. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Share your thought, Matt.
I'll say for me, growing up in the 90s, when I saw Escape from LA, I had not seen Escape from New York. I just learned about it. And I told you about the story too. My dad had brain surgery. He shared a room with, I think, Kurt Russell's son. And he's like, let me get an eye patch because my dad got his eyes sewed up.
Wow.
And I had never seen Escape from New York at the time, I believe, and I just seen LA. I was just blown away by it. I loved it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when this came out,
by itself, if you just watch it by itself, it's great. If you watch it as an Escape from New York sequel, it's awful.
It's kind of a remake in some ways.
Not the same at all.
No, it's
completely. But I loved
different.
it. I love the score. I love the costume he's wearing. I love because I'm from LA. I've been here almost 40 years, and I don't know. There's just little nods to it, and there's never been a movie like it other than New York.
The way I saw it, it's like it's the same character, the same plot in a way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the post-apocalyptic type of world is different and more up to date to what was happening there. That's technically what they changed. You went from being like ghetto type of thing from back in the days, like fights in the yard, in the alleys and shit like that. Where the little what was it? We Are Warriors type of thing. Vibe.
Warriors,
right?
Yeah.
And then when you watched You Escape from LA, it came from the decadent ways of the Hollywood with plastic surgery.
100%.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
And then you had the
Surgeon General of
Beverly Hills.
So it's the other decadence of the world
that
that was more modern. So that technically it's like the same adventure, but they changed the background character.
That was dope, dude.
The
like,
world.
I don't know. It's a weird like thing. You know what I mean?
It's a very odd film. It's a very
the magic of it is the fucking character. Because to me, that's what I wanted to bring up. It's the fact that he's very character driven. He has a good story, but his stories are very character driven, and that's why Escape works. 1 and 2, they work. Why? Because that's a goddamn character. You're there to watch Snake.
Yeah, Snake.
And I knew him from Overboard. I loved Overboard as a kid. Yeah. Right? I fucking loved Overboard. And I've seen a couple other movies and I like Kurt. And I seen that, and you see in the trailer, dude, the fucking trailer of Escape from LA, in the movie theater. Like, I don't know what movie I saw, if it was Bram Stoker's Dracula or what.
Yeah.
But I seen it, and it's like he's doing the draw scene. He's like, draw, and he's got his head up. And,
Bangkok rules.
No, I might have to send Margene a digital copy of Blood Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Say that again. Do what? Huh?
Did you digital copy of my book?
We gotta send you some comics.
Okay.
If you got a PO box or
Send
something,
them. Yeah.
we'll hook
send
you
them.
up. We'll hook you up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Blood Hunt is a lot of fun. It's how
Yeah, it
many
is.
pages is it again?
80.
80.
love Blood
I
Hunt.
always say it's like 80
Awesome.
pages of fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll probably like Blood Hunt. It's pretty
It was
dope.
my
I
love
love
letter
it.
to vampires in a way.
Yeah.
Wait,
and-
what's this? Wait, hold on. What is it like playing an unromantic vampire with a stinky smell? and really bad breath. If I remember correctly, that vampires smell very bad.
Yeah,
And
like the
folklore.
like
And
the
folklore.
like the French guys with the wigs back in the days.
Yeah,
They
no.
look good, but they smell bad. That's what it means.
It's the no, actually, it's the folklore. It's the vampires of folklore, like the
folklore, yeah.
right?
That was not present in our modern day Western vampire flick.
No. These aren't
Very
vampires.
cautious.
These are not
Yeah.
vampires that look like they crawled out of the ground. Even when they crawl out of the ground.
Even when we crawl out of the ground, we don't look like we're crawling out of the ground.
So before
Nah,
they
that was metal.
yell like
That scene,
film.
That's my
that scene's
favorite scene in
metal.
the movie.
Metal as fuck.
Mine too. Yeah.
I was gonna say before
We're
they
gonna
yell
talk about
action,
that.
there
We're
was a
gonna
little
talk
bit
about
of
that.
vampire musk.
I got stories.
Oh man, because whenever I see that scene, it's my favorite scene in the film because it's so Mario Bava and it's so Lucio Fulci. It's so Italian, and I just keep thinking, like, boy, that could not have been comfortable for those actors.
I
being
promise
buried
you.
alive.
I promise you, at the end of this show, we will only have barely cracked the surface of the amount of stuff that Margine has been involved in. So buckle up, guys. You may see her again in the future, yo. I'm just
she's
saying.
always welcome here.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Regular guests.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, no, because I wanted to, because I've never met you before, so I wanted to get a little
Yeah.
bit of a read on you. So I was
Yep.
watching you on the Morning Brew, and I was like, oh, this chick's totally chill. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be fine. This is gonna be cool. It's gonna be all
I
right.
know, I'm so unlike that bitchy persona that everybody thinks I am.
But that's fun to play, probably, huh?
Oh, it is way more fun playing a bad guy than a good guy.
I
Oh,
can imagine.
That'd be
far.
sounds like fun.
It's like just unleash, let loose, and it's like I'm getting paid for this. This
Oh,
is
hell yeah.
Well, when I was a wrestling fan, that's I always loved the heels because the heels looked like they were having a
yeah.
blast.
The heels are great, right?
Yeah.
I hated. We always talk about this. I hated the heels when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I hated those.
We're
dude,
supposed to,
I hated
though.
them.
We're
But
supposed
now
to
as an
be-
adult, I love them and I respect them even more and what they had to do to get their
Exactly.
job. And they're so cool and those roles are so juicy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I
And
don't
you
know.
would see certain wrestlers that when they were faces, which is
Yeah.
what they call the good guys in wrestling, like Chris Jericho, for instance.
Yeah.
And then
Nick was dope, dude.
suddenly heel turn,
No.
and he's like
Y2J, yeah, he was some, yeah, no, yeah, he was fun.
hilarious.
He was like Loki out there, dude. He was very
Yes.
mischievous. Yeah, he was like a
Yes.
mask running around.
Yes.
Somebody stop me! Yeah, he was running around in there, dude. Like
Buff Bagwell was another
retrospect.
guy like that, just like boring face, and then suddenly heel turn, and it's just like
giddy.
I'm gonna tell you the best heel turn that's happened in the last 10 years is Ronda Rousey. She could be the best female heel ever.
You see, I haven't really watched wrestling in the last
Dude,
like
They don't
20,
like her
25
anymore, man.
years.
She heel turned and it was a serious crowd don't like her. She did it right, dude. It's good.
Oh yeah, well that's the point. It's like Macho Man Randy Savage said, like, if you want somebody throws a beer at me, that's cool. He's like, the worst thing that people could do is nothing. It's like if everybody hates you, it's just like, all right, I did my job.
Right.
Hojo, Bon Jovi was in the sequel, and the sequel was dope as fuck. I watched it.
I love the sequel to this.
I actually enjoyed it. It's on. It should be on Tubi right now, and it was.
You
cool
watched
and
it, right?
Yeah,
No.
I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, I like this.
I'll
I like
tell
this
you.
universe. It's cool, man. It's grounded.
Might have to
It's-
give it
it's a
another go, but
Southwestern.
I don't remember liking it
Gothic
that much.
Southwest.
Give it another watch. It's
It's not vampires, but
yeah, it's
That's the
not,
thing, is
dope.
it's not vampires. That's what I remember. It just doesn't feel
Right.
like vampires.
right.
but it is the same universe, and it is a good movie. It's by Tommy Lee Wallace, who was John Carpenter's a partner on a number of films, and also directed Fright Night 2, which is also, I think, a very underrated sequel. I hated when I first saw it as a kid, and I watched it again a couple of years ago, and I was like, this is actually really good.
I never seen it. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Check it out. Yeah.
Add that to the list.
Okay, Kirby's saying, I remember in this movie it was said that vampires had really shitty breath. Yeah, a lot is said about them.
Yes.
James Wood pretty much covered every fucking bad thing you could say about a vampire in there.
Yes.
And he said one of my favorite goddamn line ever.
Busted.
Padre, when I was beating your ass over there, did you get a little wood? A little mahogany and a
He's
living?
got the line.
Mahogany and a living?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that a lot of them were just improvised, because you know what they said during the filming, he would shoot the scene with the lines and make him improvise one, and he kept most of the improvised ones because James Wood just fucking awesome at it.
Yeah, man. And
he's like a Dennis Leary.
Well, what's so great about Jack Crow as a character is that if you have, first of all, in horror, it's a genre where your hero doesn't have to be a total candy ass.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You're rooting for a bad guy, technically, because the guy has to be a badass. He has to do bad things to win.
He's not a
That's
bad
one of the
guy.
things that people are forgetting is sometimes the good guy has to do bad things.
It's
for the win. You know, like to the enemy, the hero is the bad guy.
Right. It's not that he's a bad guy, right? Remember, the reason they want him for a sacrifice is because they need the blood of a crusader.
Right.
And that's actually what he is.
And
it's not that he's bad, it's that he's an asshole.
Yes.
That's
but he has to be for what he has for what he went through. That's the thing, it's made very freaking clear from the get-go that he's an asshole because he has no choice. Yes. And you see with the Padre when you spoilers, when you find out that there's a betrayer behind all of this shit, and there's a good reason why he's like that, and he said it. You can't trust him.
Yep. And one of the things that you see, like I discovered this working in the mental health care field, is that people who are survivors of trauma, what they'll do is they'll reenact that trauma over and over and over again so that they can gain some kind of control over it.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's what Jack Crow is doing.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same way that you have to deal with phobias.
Yeah.
When you're afraid of height, go challenge yourself in heights and you'll get over it eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it becomes the thing that motivates you.
Yeah. Because if you just hide from what you're afraid, you're always going to be afraid. It's like the same thing of like, oh, I see blood and I faint. Well, look at more blood until you don't faint no more.
Well, you don't.
I'm such a sissy. Whenever they take blood, I'm always doing this. I'm always like,
that's funny. You, Brian,
and they're like, yeah, and they're like, wait a second, I thought you loved horror movies. I'm like, yeah, but that's all fake.
Yeah, but dude, Matt, that's one of the biggest tropes about horror movie fans. Is that sometimes they're the weakest ones on the horror spectrum.
Right.
That's why they're fans of it, because they're trying to beat the fear of it. Get it?
Like, I'm just a fan, but I mean a fan, but I'm just a fan.
It's all caro syrup with food coloring and latex.
Right.
And I know it's not real, right? But if I'm watching somebody actually sticking a real needle into my real arm and drawing real blood out, I'm like, oh. Yeah, no, I'm a real sissy that way.
There's no corn syrup here.
No.
That's my lifeblood.
And Margine, did you have much of an interaction with James Woods? Like, what did you get? Like, because that's one of the things that you always wonder is like, well, what is what are so and so like?
I didn't have a problem with him.
Okay.
Others had problems with him, but I did not. I always liked his work. I always, I was excited to be, in the same vicinity as him. Right. It was very interesting. I think it was challenging from maybe the producer's perspective at some points in time on the film, because there was a very different dynamic with James, right? When you're working with someone who's got their own ideas about stuff, it's like, hey, I want to do it this way. And if that's not the way, the producers, the director, the writers see it, then there's always that bit of conflict. But, there was some stuff on set. But for me, I was like, hey, I'm a fucking vampire. And he's the star of the show. So what do I need to do to keep myself, out of the way of what he needs to do as this seasoned actor? Because even, no matter how seasoned, how many things you've done as an actor, it's like you got somebody like James, he's a complete professional, and he's got like this whole friggin' list of credits to you. And it's not like he's some schlock actor. He's got range, he's got dimension, he's got like all of these things wrapped into a package. And here he is probably thinking, I'm doing a fucking vampire film. What am I doing here? I'm a serious actor. What am I doing? And it just happens to be one of the best roles he's ever played. Right? Because he got to come in and completely unleash and be that super fucking asshole that he probably didn't ever get to play before.
He's clearly having fun. I'll say that. He's clearly having fun.
He did have a good time. There's no doubt about that. It's like, and sometimes it was hard when he would make shit up, because it's like, we're supposed to be in character. I'm supposed to be, you're supposed to be a vampire. You're supposed to be serious. You're trying to kill this dude. And here he is now. Oh, you got a little wood on that. And when I was like, oh my God, keep a straight face here. Look good. The vampires in the background cracking up. So
like,
but also, he's no stranger to the genre. Like, he would never strike me as somebody that would be like, "Oh, horror is beneath me," because he was in one of the best Cronenberg movies ever, which is Videodrome.
Right.
And I remember him talking in an interview about that. He was just like, he's like, David, meaning Cronenberg, is like really like fucked up in the head, and I mean that in like the nicest possible way.
Don't talk about my Canuck brother that way.
Oh, we love us some David Cronenberg over here. Whenever people diss Canada, I'm always saying, dude, David Cronenberg, Trailer Park.
Anybody ever's like,
there's so many. Remember when somebody in the chat went like, name me 5, and I'm like, hold on, here's a list of 100.
Yeah.
You got The Fly and you got The Thing. Cronenberg and Carpenter, best remakes of all time.
Yep.
Star Trek as well.
And
Roddenberry.
The remake, the Philip Kaufman remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I would include that in that unholy trinity of remakes that were actually superior to the originals.
The Usurper remakes.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I could live with that. I could live with the concept of.
And while we're talking about remakes, never do a fucking remake of vampires. Period.
Right.
No, look at that house though. Look at the architecture.
Look at that. Look at how badass that is.
Just the architecture of the house, just like
So
from back, the view of it. Like, I don't know. I was just looking at the house. Like, I mean, it looks dope as fuck even from the porch. But like,
that's Henry.
Oh man, looks so cool.
Yeah, he's in a lot of John Carpenter movies. He's in Escape from L.A. and also Ghost of Mars.
The thing about Carpenter is that he was very into like storytelling and cartooning, as well as Robert Rodriguez. That's where they get their storytelling, because they have a very strong storytelling, and they don't just tell the story by what they write. They tell the story as show don't tell.
Yes.
So they're gonna show you the house. The house tells you that that's freaking old.
Like, dude, I'm not going in there, bro.
And that they're not taking care of it very much.
Right.
Like, and the way that he's staring it down, it's like these guys, right? Are first of all, you love how they're.
That's a shot.
Right, they're just coming out looking like a bunch of scumbags,
right?
Just like, once again, like the people that are doing this kind of job, you wouldn't necessarily want nice people doing this job.
That guy's awesome, dude. Batman Begins,
I love that
Sons
dude
of Anarchy.
Do you recognize the guy?
Yeah, 30 Days of Night.
Yep, he's always a badass like biker.
Padre, he was in Sanford and Son.
Do you recognize this Asian guy in the back?
I do not.
It's not Jeff Amata.
I do not.
No, it's not Jeff Amata. That is, I'd have to see it.
It's not the guy that played Shao Kahn or something like that?
Shokan, no.
Oh, I think it is, dude.
It is. No, it
I think
is.
it's
If I,
Carrie,
if
I
I
think his
check-
name's Carrie
Yeah.
something.
Carrie
Hold on,
Tagawa.
yeah,
I
it's
think
just
it
I
is
can't
Carrie
remember his
Tagawa.
name.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
not Carrie.
Yes.
That's not Carrie
No.
Hiroyuki Tagawa in this.
I think it is,
Carrie
dude.
Tagawa.
It is.
I
It
think it
is.
is, brother man. I think it is.
Is?
Yeah, Carrie
It is.
Tagawa.
When it was younger, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was getting in there at that time.
but
Yeah.
you barely see
That's
him.
him, dude. That's him on the left. That's him on the far left.
Is it
Yeah, that's him,
really?
dude. That fool's
wow,
like,
I
I'm in
missed that.
vampires, dude.
And I've
I
seen
know
this
that's
movie
why.
100
That's why.
times.
Why do you
Jumping
think
loads
I'm
of
pointing
vampires,
it out?
brother.
I found
Yeah,
out
yeah,
not too
yeah.
long ago when I was watching it. I'm like, hold on a minute, and I went to check the IMDb, and I'm like, motherfucker.
He got in there.
Yeah, but
And
dude,
there
you
he
got that guy in there, but you probably got in there because it was like, you're doing that movie. I want in. I don't care what I am. I just want to be in. Because
Yeah.
honestly, if you had that guy as an actor, you would have used him a lot more.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes.
You know, it's obviously somebody that's like, dude, I want to be in. I want to die.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. It's like we have this thing, Margine, where in our comic books, we often in our crowdfunding campaigns, we have what's known as a drawn-in tier. That's to say, send us a picture of you or somebody that you want to be in the comic, and we'll put you in the comic.
Nice.
And people love to get murdered.
Awesome.
People love the more brutal the death, the better.
Oh my God, that's great.
And Sim in Blood Hunt kills a whole bunch of his fellow comics creators.
Yes, I kill a whole bunch of them.
My favorite is Mark Marianelli, the way his head goes spinning off his shoulders.
I like how Chris dies.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
Chris paid to be a werewolf in the story, so you see him transforming
Right.
into a werewolf.
Yep.
Vincent fights him. He breaks into a mist of blood, chokes the werewolf, and rematerializes himself in him and blows him up.
Oh my
Pops him like
God.
a zit.
And Blood Hunt is really good, especially the jacket.
Yeah, you look sweet, dude. You know what? That's one of the things that you have to give a vampire, they have
Some
to look cool.
style. They
Something
have
cool. Style.
And speaking of looking cool, one of
Yep.
the most underrated actors
Ever.
ever.
Dude, he's fucking awesome in The Crow too. And
Yep.
Dude, he's a
dude.
badass.
Dude, I was so happy to see him in the last season of Cobra Kai.
Cobra
Last season.
Kai.
Right?
Of
Right?
course.
Because I was just like, this guy's awesome. Why is
He was in the Karate Kid movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 3, right?
Oh
Great.
yeah.
Yup. And then when they brought him back, I was like, hell yeah.
Yep.
Because this is a guy who never really had the career that he kind of deserved.
Yeah. Tom.
That-
yeah, but it always came off to me too in his interview that he didn't want to neither. Like he kind
That's
of wanted
interesting.
to, it's like you have some actors that just want to play roles that they don't want to be the big breakout because they know that usually when you break out, it's like a candle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And then there's
And it used to be-
typecasting.
But it used to be something that used to happen a lot more too during the 70s and 80s and 90s, where you would have actors coming in, being famous or doing big hits movie, and then just going back to their lives.
And then they just
I
go back.
also want to say this dude reprised his role as Terry Silver.
Yup.
Man, he couldn't have done it any better.
Right?
He could not have done any better than he did, reprising
was a
this character
joy.
years and years later, decades
It was
later.
it was a
Come on.
joy to watch. And here's the thing. He's one of those guys that's not a martial artist, but he's obviously a dancer. And you could take a dancer and put them in a martial arts role and they do great.
Mm.
Because they have the flexibility.
I think he
Like
trained.
Swayze.
I'm sure he trained.
Does he?
I'm sure he trained for Cobra Kai because
Oh yeah, Cobra Kai for sure.
No, but I think he trained.
He
You
does
have to
martial
check
arts.
his-
Okay.
check yeah, I think he did train.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because like someone like Michelle Yeoh, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Not a martial artist, dancer.
Yeah.
Right? But
Patrick
once again,
Swayze.
it's like fight choreography. Patrick Swayze, dancer, right? Great with the fight scenes because what is
Totally.
it? It's choreography.
Yeah, but you know, you're also talking about the ages where people would do karate and be like a brown belt and not say they're martial artists, while now they just go and do 5 kata on freaking Facebook and call themselves an MMA fighter.
Right.
I know a little hung guard.
Look, I'm practicing MMA. I'm like, you're doing what? Kung Fu, Jiu-Jitsu, karate. What are you doing? MMA. I'm like, that's not a fighting style.
Right.
It's like, you know,
I'm mixed martial arts.
Which martial arts are you mixing?
Martial arts mixer.
Elaborate a little bit.
Oh my god.
A little quack fu, maybe? I don't know.
But I'm not mistaken. That's the same guy that plays the bad guy in freaking The Crow, right?
No.
No?
You're thinking
I'm
of
mixing them up, right?
Michael Wincott.
Yeah, Wincott. Yeah, that's my boy Wincott.
Who's also a terribly underrated actor.
That's what I was talking about. I mixed them up. Yeah, sorry.
I always thought that he would make a great Solomon Kane, actually.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect Kane. Yeah.
And Thomas Dean
like
Griffith ended up. I'm sorry, what you say, Sam?
I said the guy kind of looked like him with the makeup.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Wincott a little. Yeah. Wincott came out in Resurrection too with Ron Perlman.
Oh yeah, that's
Alien.
right. Yeah, Alien 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I love that movie and that people don't like it, I love it. I'm sorry.
It's
you can all bite me.
You got Wincott, you got Perlman, you got Dorif, you got Ryder, you got Weaver. There's a bunch of people.
Dude, I love the fact that you have the first one that's actually that's a horror movie. Then you have the second one that's an action sci-fi movie. They switch. Then they went back to the horror aspect with the third one, with it's only like one or something with the in the prison. And then they went back to the full out action pack
action horror.
I really like it. I'm sorry, but it's my cup of tea.
The problem with Alien 3, and I really enjoyed Alien 3. Like, people didn't like it. And I was like, what didn't you like about that?
That's dope.
The problem with Alien 3 was that people didn't want Alien 3. People wanted Aliens 2.
They wanted Aliens 5. Yeah. They wanted Machine. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. You up the octane. You cannot go back down.
No. It's like the James Bond movies. Like they were always consistently expanding, getting bigger, and then it's just like once you get as big as you can go, like you only live twice. Well, then you bring it down to like On Her Majesty's Secret Service, something smaller, a little more personal.
And let's highlight one thing that we've discussed before: the difference between the American storytelling and the European type, we could say, or other world, because the mangas do the same thing.
Yeah.
The American, they really can't deal with the fact that it does not end well for the fucking hero.
Exactly.
Like every time there's a movie where it doesn't end too well for the fucking hero, even though he wins, if he has to freaking sacrifice himself, people cannot get.
People hate that.
Americans, I always say this. This is the thing I love about Italian cinema and Chinese cinema.
Yeah.
At least Chinese cinema before it, got taken over by the government, right?
Right.
They understand tragedy.
Yes.
And they appreciate tragedy as a genre.
Yeah.
That goes all the way back to Greek theater.
Built on heroes, and we don't like to see the hero lose.
Right.
I do.
But that's not true. Most heroes don't always end up well, dude.
No,
I'm sorry.
They don't. Sometimes they die in the end too. You know what I mean?
It's like somebody gets the credit from it, but the other people that died to give him that win.
Yeah. It's like when Game of Thrones first came out, Ned Stark died in episode 2.
He was like my favorite character.
He was the greatest character. I was like, oh my god! And they're like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, moving on.
Right. And the point of that is kind of like in a horror movie where you take out maybe the actor that's like the highest profile, the biggest star or something like that, or the person that's the most competent, the character that's the most competent. They get taken out. It's like, okay, now anybody can go at any time.
Or you could add the aspect to it, the fact that the hero not killing, destroying the bad person.
Yeah.
So it's like the Lovecraftian thing.
Yep.
Lovecraftian thing is they never really ends well.
Never.
The thing is you cannot win. You can't win.
Never win.
You can survive maybe, but you can't fucking win.
No, you can't. I mean, even like in the Robert E. Howard stories, some of the Conan stories, he goes up against these enemies, these monsters. And he's like, nope, and just
You know,
just runs.
a survivor, a hero of a Lovecraftian movie, you'd go to him and you go, "You won. Are you happy? No, it's gonna happen again."
Or they're in an insane, or they're in Arkham Asylum. They're in Arkham Asylum, banging their heads against the wall.
Oh, damn! I
love this scene. Not this scene, but I mean, the scene where he goes. The scene where he goes to the hotel room. The massacre.
We're gonna.
I ain't gonna lie. That's my favorite scene of the movie. I just love what he does. It's so badass. And it's cool that he packs the beginning of the movie tight with action. The whole like siege on that Gothic house, the scary haunted house. Then he does the hotel. You know.
Well, that's because it's a nest. Yeah, that first house is the nest, right?
Yep.
And they're looking for those masters. It's like, where the hell are they? It's a nest.
Yes,
So,
and then the camera pans over to like a patch of soil.
Right.
Oh yeah, that scene. Yeah, that's dope, dude.
And
they come up out of the ground.
Let's face it,
it's the most iconic.
Yeah. Valak is the first vampire, which means he's the oldest, which means he's likely the smartest.
Yeah.
And you don't live to be that old if you're stupid. Right? And I love the fact that the vampires, like the goons, that they start out as like these really kind of scummy creatures, right? Why? Because they're new. Because they're fresh. Give them maybe a couple 100 years, and then maybe they'll clean up. Yeah.
Maybe. Just a little.
Yes. Yep.
And I like the fact they also use the fact that, you know, the people that they turn also tied to them.
No. Yeah. Right.
Okay, here we go. All right. Pops to the rescue. But yeah, let me see if I can blow this up.
I like the way he shows up too. Like he kind of shows up like out of nowhere. Like they do.
Well, he shows up right at
enhance.
He does a good job of selling him showing up out of nowhere. Like they're having a good old time, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, he just walks right up. He's just
maximize.
He walks right up and goes, "Sup? You guys looking for me?" Yeah, here it is. I think Margine, correct me if I'm wrong. Special makeup effects by Greg Nicotero. Yes. And wow, first of all, I love the vampire makeup. The vampire makeup is great.
Yep.
But wow, some of the practical effects in this. I mean, they don't make movies like this anymore.
What's that grin? Oh my god.
Yep. He's like, "What are you guys gonna do?" It's just like, yeah, keep coming.
Keep hitting me with that 9mm. It's all good.
Yep. The 45, the 12 gauge in the back.
And for the manga and for people like me that are also manga fans, that reminded me so much of Hellsing, Alucard and Hellsing. The way that he is.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched that. I'm gonna have to check it out. I've heard of it. Hellsing, right?
Yeah, you check Hellsing Ultimate. And the early one is good, but halfway through they changed the story. Let's just say one doesn't have vampire Nazi and the second one has vampire Nazis. You want the vampire Nazi one.
Yes, you do. Doing a vampire Nazi blitz on modern day London.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's insane.
Literally.
It's insane. Yeah, it's
London Bridge is falling down. Down, my dear lady.
Yep. And Sim recommended that to me like ages ago, and I only recently watched it maybe 6.
And if you want to get a good taste from it, and maybe you don't want to watch the entire series or something like the full season, then go watch something called Hellsing Abridged on YouTube.
So, yeah, it's funny.
They made it into a parody. They made a parody of it, but they made it better than the original in a way. They succeeded into making it stand by itself. You don't even need to watch the original to get it, like the Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Oh, nice.
You need to have to see the original to actually fully enjoy the jokes, right? Not Abridged, not Hellsing Abridged. Hellsing Abridged stands by itself.
It's
like, just to tell you, one of the big punchline is there is like. Haven't you heard the crave going around the nation and goes, "What bitches love cannon? Get that bitch cannon." And she has a big anti-tank rifle. She goes, "Oh yeah."
It's very funny. It's very funny. Yeah. But it's in the spirit of the sheer and absolute insanity.
Yeah.
That is the original.
And you realize that you start watching the movie thinking that Hellsing is like the hero or something of the entire freaking thing.
Right.
And then you realize that Alucard is not the hero. is actually Dracula spelled backwards, right?
Huh.
And the actual hero in there is the police lady, because she's freaking fucking badass.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. And Matt, you remember when we did Son of Dracula? Remember that was like the first use of Alucard.
Yeah.
Right? Alucard. Wait a second. It's Dracula spelled backwards. Dun dun dun.
Took him a minute, and then okay, with Lon Chaney Jr. Right?
Yes.
In the swamps.
Yeah.
But the funny part is that there at the end of the series, he unlocks everything, right? I'm not gonna try and spoil too much, but he unlocks all his powers, and he reverts back to Dracula with the freaking armor, like the old cool school Dracula with his accent and everything. And then you have the other one that's like, fuck you, I want to face the other guy. So he goes back to this asshole fucking more modern version of Alucard. He goes, let's do it, bitch.
I have to check that out.
It's really good. It's really good.
That sounds awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a peek. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Margine, we got to talk about this. The scene. That's
the scene.
The scene.
The scene.
Let me see if I can
find the scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me.
And while you look for it, you know what I miss? It's having all those freaking behind the scene and how to make those goddamn movies that we used to have behind every goddamn VHS.
Oh,
yeah,
like they should do with every goddamn DVD and Blu-rays.
I know.
Like,
right.
You did that to me. I used to
yeah.
love watching that stuff. And Vampire was great. There was a lot of behind the scenes stuff on the VHS.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the things that I loved about DVD when it first came out was the fact that it was a collector's medium.
Yeah.
And
there's the bloopers.
And now it's coming, and now of course with Blu-ray, it's come back. And now you're getting these beautiful Blu-ray transfers of in some cases some really trashy movies, but it's so wonderful, and seeing all of the cool stuff, man. And
one of my biggest heroes.
Yeah, me too. He was actually my childhood hero.
I'm talking about Carpenter.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
he's the reason why I also like freaking Robert Rodriguez.
Well,
one was his mentor, and he has the same style.
Yeah.
Very, very, very much so. And anybody who's a fan of John Carpenter, I highly suggest you go back and watch the director that inspired him, who's Howard Hawks. Howard Hawks directed, of course, the original version of The Thing. And although he's not listed as the director, everybody says it. Yeah, he pretty much directed it. And El Dorado, which is one of my favorite Westerns. And Rio Lobo. God, there's a bunch of them, man. El Dorado being my own personal favorite. If you watch those, you really get Carpenter. And Carpenter actually did write one straight Western, which was called El Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been great if it had starred. It was clearly a perfect role for Kurt Russell.
I still think it's Kurt Russell.
But it ended up being made as a made-for-cable movie. It made for HBO movie.
I was gonna ask if it made it into a comic, because I remember he made two or three comic book based on ideas that he had. One of them was the sequel to Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Oh, with Eric Powell.
Yeah, there's the sequel to it that was actually written. You have the comic book. Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
Oh, no kidding. Was it written by W.D. Richter, the guy?
It was co-written by Carpenter, and the comic book was finished by somebody else. I just can't remember.
Eric Powell and him wrote the sequel to Big Trouble in Little China, and they go to Chinese hell. It's pretty dope.
I haven't got that one yet. I need to add that to my collection.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that Carpenter has Storm King Comics, which is an imprint. And is Sandy King still with us?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking of Deborah Hill, who unfortunately is.
Yeah, Deborah Hill's not,
no longer
but
with us.
Sandy King is. Yeah.
Let's hear what Mr. Carpenter has to say.
There are basically two ways of doing it. Either you do the classic Dracula and really do it right, or you try to do something new with the genre.
Have you ever seen a vampire? No. Well, first of all, they're not romantic. So don't see everybody inside with cheesy Eurotrash accent, all right? Get whatever you've seen in the movies.
Vampires concerned.
If you're going to pause it, just go for 15 seconds and then pause it for 15
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The Catholic Church
Need some
and the fact
popcorn
that
if
it
we're gonna do it like
created
this.
Right.
vampires back in the 13th century accidentally. And the church has a team of slayers.
badass.
That's so badass.
By
I
the
love
way,
the music that he does for every goddamn movies.
Yeah.
dude, this is actually one of my favorite soundtracks by him. And he put a band together for this.
Yeah,
But
he's a musician.
You know that Carpenter is part of my work playlist. You know it.
Yeah.
This comment right here wins the show. Right here, that comment wins the show.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
They go around the world.
Oh, and really quick, I just want to say much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. I see Phil from State Comics. I see
Max.
Quentin.
What's up?
Keith, Max, everybody. Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much.
Exterminating vampires.
Open wide, baby.
This is the story of the master vampire of all time, the first and most powerful.
No master was ever like this.
Maximilian Schell. We should mention Maximilian Schell here.
Yeah.
Legendary actor. Definitely somebody who brings some gravitas to the movie. Did you work at Margine? Did you have much of an interaction with Maximilian Schell?
It was more like, hey, hi, how are you? We're all in the same scene because we're all in that,
Right.
because he, obviously
Climax.
turns out to be like, hey, I'm gonna use all you vampires to get what I gotta get because Blalock is, controlling me. So we were all ended up being in the same scene. So, but it wasn't, with any kind of actor like that, it's just like, I just mind my business, do my thing.
Right.
If it ends up that there's a conversation like, hey, hi, how's it going?
Right.
But I don't try to get, into people's process because some actors are very method. So it's like, hey, unless you're going to actually have a conversation with me, it's like, I'm not going to interrupt your process because I'm sensitive to that anyways. If I'm on set as a character, like a lead character, it's like, I got my own process I got to go through. So it's like,
Right. The last thing he needs is like somebody coming up to him and saying, when you did like Man in the Glass Box, what was that like? What was your process?
Yeah. I mean, it's different if you're like sitting in the makeup trailer with somebody and it's like, oh, hi, but then it becomes that point like I did the smallest of roles on, Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Oh my God, the smallest of roles. And I'm in the makeup trailer and with Jeff Goldblum. He's like, what do you say to the fly? What do you say to him? Like, oh, hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hi,
Buzz,
what's
Buzz.
up? Loved you as the fly. It's like
Buzz, I love you.
Brundlefly.
right. So it's like, yeah.
Right, and you want to be I get it.
And
You want to
wanna
be professional. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Superhuman strength, unkillable, like a machine.
Who is searching for a black cross that will allow him to
The Berzier crosses.
That's right.
walk in the daylight.
A master vampire, able to walk in the sun, unstoppable.
The leader of the Slayers is Jack Crow, and he's played by James Wood.
All right, we think we got a nest inside this place.
And he's a badass mofo.
Always wanted to play an action hero. He's a brilliant actor. So for the first time, he gets to kind of play the tough guy instead of either the bad guy or the lawyer.
These are like kamikaze vampires.
People also forget that he was really young when he was in The Onion Field. And I don't think he won an Oscar for that, but I'm pretty sure he got a nomination at the very least.
This vampire would never come out in this light. I'm having the best time of my life, The idea of wearing, these like kind of cool clothes and, having these guns and the crossbow with the wooden stakes, that we shoot into the vampires' hearts. If you
Man, she's wearing cool boots.
accept the reality of vampires, now we go from there and take very seriously that we must slay all these vampires that are in little nests around the country.
Not just the country, the world.
John Carpenter's Vampires also stars Daniel Baldwin, Cheryl Lee.
Yes, Cheryl Lee, of course, best known from her role on Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Laura Palmer.
Oscar
Laura Palmer, wrapped in plastic.
winner Maximilian Schell and Thomas Ian Griffith as Valak, the master vampire.
Blalock is the original source of the disease.
I love the idea of vampires, everything about it. It's like taboo. It's, you know, the dark sexuality, what's it about? Nobody knows.
There's always been a lot of romance around vampires. It's the cycle of energy.
Well, yeah, I mean, then in that scene, there's that whole oral sex aspect.
Yeah,
of vampires.
Yeah, I always thought that
He's
the
going
annoying,
down on her, yeah.
That
the
whole
annoying,
ecstasy.
I always thought that the annoying part that they used to do in movies, it's always overly romanticized, and like they have to flirt with you, seduce you, the entire flirtation, type of thing. While in reality, they just look at you.
Right.
They would just look at you and say,
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing romantic about Dracula. Dracula doesn't love. Dracula is pure evil.
He could be ugly as fuck. He stares you down, and you want him like fucking Brad Pitt.
Exactly. Yeah. The whole.
Right?
Yep. The mesmerism.
Someone and then has to give them.
And then, of course, there is that connection. Like, for instance, Cheryl Lee's character is kind of a connection to the original Dracula story, because she becomes like Mina Harker, who's a victim of Valak, the same way that Mina Harker is a victim of Dracula, and then the heroes use her to track the master vampire, because now she, having been his victim, has a psychic connection to it.
Life force right back to them. So there is an energy exchange, and that is exactly what happens in sex.
My feeling about vampire movies is if you don't have sex, if it's not about sex, it ain't a vampire movie.
Well said, sir. Well said.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Those are vampires.
Yeah. Man. Oh,
Can't argue with greatness.
No, definitely not. And, I really wish, it's interesting because I kind of, and I could be completely wrong here, I kind of have the feeling that he has stopped doing films because he doesn't want to fall into the same trap that Dario Argento fell into, the same trap that Toby Hooper, God rest his soul, fell into.
From what I heard him say, it was just the fact of how the industry was getting, like the spurt that he had like before vampires, how the industry doesn't take risks anymore. They all want to do the big money, the big blockbuster formula, and they don't want to take chances with his stuff. So then they're trying to control what he's doing, like they did with Snyder, like they did with that. Remember we discussed the Daredevil movie. It was a flop. It was boring as hell. But they made him reshoot half the goddamn movie back then to make it a romantic movie that would come out on the 14th of February. Just because it was going to come out on Valentine's Day. If you watch the actual director's cut, it's way better. You have the court deal. You have the you have the assistant. The Coolio part. You have the assistant going to court. Like everything works better.
Yeah.
Because they try to overshadow it with the romantic with Elektra. They should have waited for number 2.
Yes. And Elektra's is a completely different character in that.
Yeah.
But also now it's like they're either making all they seem to want to make are like these big tentpole films.
Yes.
And they're not making smaller films.
But
like
we discussed this before, dude. Before every great movie that became like legendary in a way, came from the experimental department of every goddamn thing. Like
Taking
I'm
chances.
sorry. They take chances. They would take risks. Star Wars would not be there if they wouldn't have done that.
Alan Ladd Jr. Yeah, he was like the one guy.
That little recipe thing, trying to create the next big blockbuster. So that it's like just take chances. Just let them do what they do. Like sometimes it comes out awkward as hell, but down the line they still survive as cult movies. Not your fucking bullshit that gets forgotten.
Look at
it's
Dread.
not about that anymore. It's not about art anymore.
Not, they're not even. They don't even like.
They don't
think
even
of them
try.
as. No, it's content. Is what it is. It's content.
It's like the formula. I mean, and it's as being on the other side, being an actor and reading for films, constantly. It's like shit. It's the same story. over and over and over again, just in a different setting, and that's the machine that controls, the industry. And that's why there was such a big movement of independent films in the industry, because people, actors totally frustrated by the fact that, it's like someone like me, it's like, I can't get into a big blockbuster film. I'm not an A-list actor because I'm not either, sleeping with the right people or blowing the right people or doing whatever to the right fucking people. Right. But to me, I'm like, I'm not going to compromise my morals and my values for that bullshit, because fuck that shit. Right. So then it becomes, okay,
that is so metal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
it
do a
is.
small independent film, but then it's going to go on the independent channel. It's going to go on Sundance channel, and you're not going to probably make a living from it. And you're going to have something else to supplement it, but you'll have your morals intact. You'll have your values intact, and you'll have a piece of work that actually has value to it in that way that you can say forever and ever and ever. It's like, yeah, we did this.
Yeah,
exactly. And one of the things too, I'd like to add to what I said before, it's also the fact that right now they rate blank characters. A lot of the things that people are forgetting right now is characters, and characters come with strengths and comes with flaws. Like somebody that will be very, very intellectual will be goofy in another way. There's everything that has an up has a down, right? And they don't do that because they're trying to put blank like Lego characters so everybody can identify with it. Not everybody should be identifying with them. Some people should identify with them. Some people should hope to be like them, and some people despise them because they should look up to them because
Yeah.
And a character. Go ahead, Margie. No,
I was just going to say, like, one of the most underrated films, even though it's not even close to this genre. Right. It's like if you look somebody like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's known for the action stuff. He's known for all of that. It's like, and the best film he ever did, the first time I actually felt something for a character of Jean-Claude Van Damme's was when he did JCVD.
You probably see.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, me too.
And I became a fan after that. I'd watched his stuff, but I was like, oh my God. I was like, wait a minute.
Revelation.
He actually has a range in here. And there's emotion in there.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the scene where he does the monologue where they take him above they actually take him above the set. And I was like, brilliant move. Brilliant.
And he starts crying, and he's just like, why am I so, like, why have I been so lucky? Why me? So lucky?
Yep.
Right? It's anybody out there who hasn't seen that, it's called JCVD.
I've seen that.
Himself, right? It's great. And it's like he goes to a bank to take out money to give to his lawyer because he's involved in a custody battle with his ex-wife. And then bank robbers come in and they throw him up against the window. And then the cab driver's just like, Jean-Claude Van Damme's robbing the bank.
Right. Like, wait, what? And his mom's like, come out, honey.
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the problem also with the big tentpole pictures is, if you're dropping $100 million, $200 million in a movie, I wouldn't want to take a chance with if that was my money, right?
No.
So, but I always thought, why make?
But they know how to secure that money back too through advertising and product placement and all of that garbage, right?
There's also insurance for flops and stuff like that.
For flops,
That's why they have some movies that are calculated to be flops, so they can.
Yep.
And then you go into the theater and you're like, hey, I just want to watch a movie, but oh my God, that's playing on 7 screens because they bought the whole theater out, right?
But
and it's like.
One of the great ones once said, it goes, you don't get to make great things. You don't get to win big without risking nothing, right?
Yeah.
So one of the big things that they used to compare, like the investors, I'm talking like in interviews, they would say, some people go gambling. I invest in movies. You have a bit, like, it's stupid to say, but you need to invest and let the people go. Like, trust the goddamn thing. It's like, imagine like you're doing a crowdfunding book, right? I'm creating my book, and not because everybody funded my book, they're all writing me messages going, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to put that in your book, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. And you're like, did you invest in the
right?
you wanted to get what I was doing.
Yeah.
Not getting, if you want me to do your book, hire me to do your book.
Right.
Right.
But that's the thing. That's the same premise. Like I'm using an analogy for it,
No,
but
it's a
that's
very good
technically
one.
the same premise
Very
for
good
the
one.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
And-
also when it comes to having your integrity intact, that's the most important
Yes.
thing in the world because it's the only thing that you can take with you.
And
All
as
this
you
stuff-
know-
It's your soul in essence,
It's
you
your
know, like it's your
soul.
life
Yeah.
force.
And as
It's
you
your
know,
soul.
and as
an
you know,
artist.
my studies are into movies. Like I have a bachelor's degree in movies and animation and stuff like that, 3D animation. And the thing is, as I was going there, I was so motivated into doing movies. But
Right?
before I ended, all my heroes stopped, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stick to comics because I get to do whatever the hell I freaking want.
Do what you want.
I don't have. It's my budget and stuff like that, and I can do my own little animation and get people to voice them.
Yes. And Sim, you're killing it, my brother. You're killing
thank
it.
you.
And we'll definitely take a look at Tales from the Natverse too, and anything else that you.
Oh yeah,
want
I'll
to,
be launching the second chance campaign. Want to see something?
Oh man, yeah. No, I love what you're doing, brother.
Yeah.
I absolutely love what
I'm
you're
coloring
doing.
while we're streaming.
Nice.
Yeah, but Margine, he's like one of those like genetic freaks that can kind of like bifurcate his mind and kind of do two things.
Awesome. I love
at
that.
the same
Oh my
time.
God, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
the two
awesome.
sisters,
Love it.
Luwani.
Luwani and Rose, together for the first time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So the premise is like they're meeting for the first time. She was dying of cancer,
Right?
and she got a replacement body made for her, but got stolen, and that body became her. So now they're sisters.
Oh, that's cool. I like it. Well, if you
So-
guys ever need voiceovers,
And
Are
here's
you
another-
serious? Is that a serious?
no, I'm not serious. Yeah, I'm fucking serious. God.
Thanks,
I might
Margine.
take you on that one.
Let me just say some crap on live stream and then be like, oh no.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
I love
Pops.
that stuff. I love it.
Oh,
You know,
it's,
and then it's one of those things also in Hollywood that if you don't have the right, like, you know,
Mhm.
connections to get into voiceovers,
oh,
you're SOL as well. So I'm like, man,
I was so
love
lucky to find
voiceovers.
one.
I love reading stuff and doing voiceovers.
I was so lucky to find one, and he's goddamn good. Like the one that voices Nat and Bob in the animation. I
Oh
was like,
yeah, he is.
Awesome.
dude, that guy doesn't even sound anything like that for real.
Right.
He's fucking awesome.
That's great.
Well, some
And, you know-
people just have that gift, right? Like when I was a kid, I used
I
to
love
love
that
doing these little radio shows with all these different voices,
Mhm.
and then I reached puberty, and that was the end of that. You know, it's like, well, you know, but that's life. It's like you lose one gift and it's replaced,
And it's replaced
by
by
another.
something else.
But you know, like I was saying, like, I got that guy, but he found me. He's the one that got to me, sent me a video of him recording
Nice.
something over an image I did, and I'm like, oh god damn it, you
That's
got him.
Get him. Get him.
Yep. Yep.
Get him.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you,
Love that.
you already recorded the voiceover for the first episode that I'm starting working on my spare time,
Beautiful.
Oh heck yes!
I
which is
love
probably
that.
going to be done in 3 years.
I'm telling you, Mark. I
Hurry
know,
up.
right? Mark,
Rich.
I'm telling you, Margine, this independent creator scene has been such a joy. It's such a blessing
Yeah.
to be part of. I've met the most amazing people and really just amazingly talented
Yeah.
people. And the best thing, my favorite part, has been watching people getting better.
Getting better. Yeah.
And I keep seeing that. It's just like, ding, level up. Sim's been leveling up. Matt's been leveling up. Everybody just keeps leveling up.
It's the way the game goes, man. It's
They're
like
even inspiring somebody like me who basically I started doing what I do because COVID shut everything down.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was when I started promoting people, but now it's like it even inspires me. I pitched an idea, Brian, before the show.
Right? It's like,
And-
hey, what about this?
And then, of course, the people from the chats. And I know, like everybody, if you heard me say this a billion times, I'm sorry you're going to hear me say it one more time. I love seeing people that were just names in the chats, and then they're like, "Hey, those guys are doing it, and they don't seem too bright. So why
Right.
don't I throw my hat in the ring?"
and you
And
got
then
people,
they're doing it, and then
If
they're
they
doing
can
it.
do it, I can do it.
you got people
Yeah.
like Max and Atrocity Press who has
the best.
Right?
Ninja bimbos versus zombies from deep space. He
That's
has
awesome.
human hunters, which is vampires backwards.
Ooh.
Sort of. You know what I mean? It's
Sort
like
of,
the
yeah.
monsters hunt the humans type of thing.
Interesting.
Max's stuff, Mary Machine Gun. Come on, Max's stuff is like amazing. You know, it's like
I need you
so
guys for
many.
my project.
Oh,
Oh,
there's so many people in this
done,
network that are
done.
putting out the bomb stuff. Matt's stuff is bomb. Come
Yeah,
on,
it is.
switch
Yeah, it
I love
gears.
it. I love it.
You know?
Can you share my screen for a sec?
Yes, I can.
Share my screen.
Oh, yes.
This is the cover
There it
for
is.
Bloodhunt.
Bloodhunt.
Wow.
Now check out the jacket. See the
That's
black
good
and
job.
purple? You see the black and purple jacket, Margine? Check that.
Oh
This
my
is the
God.
character.
Vincent,
So yeah, the first pages.
Wow.
named after Vincent Price. Of course.
Vincent Price. Yeah, his name is Vincent. Yeah. And as you can see, I am fully inspired by the right people.
Yeah, yeah. That is great.
And
Wow.
Oh, this is so much fun. I had such a
Yeah,
because
it's a great read.
I agreed to write the crossover between this and our friend Preston Acevedo's Doc Salem, which is basically Victor Frankenstein as a superhero monster hunter.
Mhm.
And so I agreed before I even read this. It's when I got this, I was like a little nervous, and I got to like page like 10. I was like, okay, no, we good.
Here's my version of the hotel room scene where he goes to the big boss there and just starts walking through the house and whistling and just starts ripping them to shreds.
Oh my God.
Same thing.
Yeah, that's a good book. Like
It is. It's a lot of fun.
See,
one of the
everybody
best
liked that
indie
scene.
books I've read.
Right on.
Yeah,
Action packed.
are you ever going to come out with a color version of this?
Wow.
Yes, this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to see a color version of this.
Because I'm a black and white stan. I love me
Yeah.
some black and white art, but that was one of those books I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see that in color.
Oh, I'm gonna color it, and I'm when that book's gonna be coming with an extra 20-something page story of year one.
Sick.
1 year after. Yeah.
I would
That's
take that
what
in
I
black
want.
and white,
That's
black,
what I
white, and blood red for the blood in there, and I would also take a colored version of that.
Yeah, the black and red the one I wanted to do it, but it's very iffy from people. People would rather see the colored edition, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I would have to ask for way too much money to print 3 different versions.
Right.
That's true.
Like, you're talking about 5K each copies type of thing.
Oh my God.
I gotta ask, is it weird talking through fangs?
I was going to ask about the contacts because I've heard that those are really uncomfortable.
I don't know. Me, I tried the glue-on fangs, and it was pretty goddamn sweet.
See,
Yeah,
this
I
is the thing when you actually do a film that has a budget for this kind of shit.
Yeah, yeah, Gregory Nicotero.
With Greg Nicotero, and you show up to your fang fitting, and they make a mold of your mouth, and it's perfect. Like
dope.
absolutely perfect. And I tell you something, it was the most surreal experience because, I mean, I was already a contact lens wearer, so that didn't bother me at all.
Right.
And like at all. Others were like, oh my God, I got these things in my eyes. And I'm just like, this is awesome. And then because the color that they are, anyone who is on set that, like, the big joke was, for me, between some of the stunt people, because I was doing stunts as well. This was a stunt job, and I was doing, I got this after I had already done Mortal Kombat. So it was after that, right? And Jeff Amata was the stunt coordinator. And when he said, hey, we didn't get to work together on Mortal Kombat because he had a conflict with something else. So, and when he called me into like, hey, do you want to come, do some stunts on, John Carpenter's Vampires? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, how about a fire burn? And I'm like, yeah, no. No. I get there and I'm sitting in the office. He comes out and he goes, oh, well, there's this part where, you get dragged out and you're going to get lit on fire. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
not in my scope, right? Fire burns were not in my realm of expertise. I was just like, yeah, I don't know. And he goes, oh, okay, hold on. Let me go talk to them. So he goes and talks to Sandy and John, comes back and he goes, okay, they're going to make you one of the master vampires. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, you'll just
stunt job.
You went from goon. Like, cool. And he goes, you'll just have to crawl out of a grave. So my mind is like, oh, fantastic. You know, like graveyard is like going to be a box and it's going to be cool, like super easy. And he's like, yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm like, sweet. And usually when you're auditioning, you don't just they say, oh yeah, you'll be one of these things. And then next thing you're one of those things, right? It's like you audition and then you have a callback and then your producer's callback and then the fucking network and like 7 auditions later, like Mortal Kombat for me was 7 auditions. By the time I got home, I was, I had phone calls from Greg Nicotero's office. I had nice. Costume department had called me, the eye optometrist had called me. Like everybody had left messages and saying like, hey, we got to get you in for your fittings for this, that. And I was like, ooh, I guess I got the job. I guess. Right. Cool. Right. And had to go in for all of those fittings, like it was like the costume fittings and the fangs and the contacts. So I was like, ooh, great, cool. Like, I guess I'm going to be a master vampire.
Oh, it's so badass. You went from goon to master.
Stunts, she went there to do stunts. That's what's cool.
To do stunts. And I was like, hell yeah. Because it was like they needed stunt people who were comfortable being in an acting part, but could do the stunts as well.
Right. So then you don't need
what I specialized in was being a stunt actor.
Right. Like I explain this to people sometimes, the reason why they'll use like stunt people as actors is because then you don't need a stunt person.
That's right.
You can just actually use it's the actual actor.
Yep.
Seamless and organic.
And sometimes they become their own actors.
Yeah.
And there you go.
What's her name again?
This was the very first day we showed up on set. First day we shot this scene. And we get
like
there.
Zoe Bell. That's her
and
name.
We get there and they're like, there's like these freaking 8 holes in the ground.
Oh God.
I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, I wonder what we're doing.
Yeah.
With all this dirt piled next to it. And they're like, oh, go find a hole that you fit in and lay down. I was like, okay, like, what is this about? Oh, and Jeff's like, yeah, these are your graves. We're just going to bury you guys alive. And when he said crawling out of a grave, I didn't think it was literally crawling out of the ground. That was our grave, buried alive.
Like, feel sorry for the sucker that's gonna have to go on one of those. Like, oh crap!
That sucker is me. Oh boy! Yeah.
Oh, but boy, does it pay off! Boy,
it pays off so good. The payoff
so cool.
One is like hands down the coolest scene. Out of everything that I have done in my career, this scene hands down is the coolest thing I have done. It's scary as all, but the coolest thing I've done.
Oh yeah, the result is freaking
The
awesome.
result's amazing.
Yeah, it's always the one scene in that movie that gives me genuine chills. That I think is just like, I'm like,
right?
Oh, it's like they're coming out of the ground. There you are.
Yeah. And it was crazy because, one of the stunt guys had been locked in a refrigerator when he was a kid, so had claustrophobia.
Oh God.
It's like they're like, hey, you don't really have any sort of let's see, what kind of atrocity press, what kind of safety measures did they set up for the stunt? Okay, so this is what they did. They put us in the ground and there was a cardboard box that was right next to our heads, and it had 2 flaps that came down over our eyes and our face so that the dirt didn't get into our eyes. And we were literally buried from the neck down. Like buried, like completely, like all of that peat moss, all of that dirt was from here down. Which is why when you see that scene, you cannot tell there's 8 people in that ground.
Wow.
Like at all. It's like,
it's fucking awesome.
Cool. And we had walkie-talkies inside the grave with us next to the box, and so that we could hear our cues. of how to come up, like when we're gonna, because it was sequenced. It was like when you watch that scene and you fully watch it, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, because Thomas comes up first, and then the second line comes up, the third line, and then the fourth line of us come up. But we all had different cues, right?
Right.
So it was like, okay, shit, what line am I in? Oh, I'm, it's like Thomas comes up, and then there's the second line, and when you're buried alive and there's air, the air is going, it's like everybody has basically their grave diggers. So everybody's grave, digger is covering them at the same exact time so that we're not under that dirt more, for more time than you need, because you're going to run out of air because there's not a lot of space, because it's just a box. It's just a little flap right here. And there's maybe, an inch of space between your nose and the flap. And then it's like, oh my God, now I have to have super mind control to not hyperventilate.
Right.
Because it's like, if we don't hurry up and do this, I'm going to run out of air.
Right.
And I'm not going to be the vampire that comes up and ruins the fucking, $1,000 shot.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked about that scene too, it's people don't pick up on it usually, but it's the attention to details, right? And I pick up on it a lot. The different level of colored ground, like the different layer of ground that's on them. Like most movies would just put like the regular sand over them, which would be like very no. You have the really dark earth.
Yep.
Then you have the medium one, and then you have the sand over it, and it shows on everyone that they come up with. And I think that what makes it so freaking awesome is the fact it doesn't look rigged. It actually looks like they're really buried there for hours, and then they come out, and you see all the different layer of ground.
Yeah.
The clouds.
Yeah.
It's the clouds in there, dude.
And that's one of the things that so many contemporary horror films are missing is atmosphere.
And another thing that you have to notice, look around. If you look at the storytelling of the aspect and the composition there, everything's alive around them except where they are.
Yes.
Everything's dead ground. Like where they are, it's dead. There's nothing. Where around it, it's all green.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right, because they don't create life. They just.
But yeah, one of the things from vampire lore is that they would use, like that what they use in Spawn in the comic book. They would use like the maggots or the ground, the earth to kind of like restore themselves.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Anything that would be from the dead ground.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So when they would go into the ground, they would heal and suck everything out of it. So that's why, like, look, it looks like a desert surrounded by nature.
And that's one of the ways that you would find a vampire's grave. You're like, nothing grows here.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, Sim. Damn, son. I pride myself on knowing my my vampire lore.
No, like I say, I may not be a writer, but I am a storyteller. I know my shit.
Oh, dude, you're a writer. Writers are storyteller. You're a visual storyteller, but guess what? That means that you're also a writer.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Meaning, I grew up with I read novels, but I grew up like movies. Like my background is all about movies. I love movies before I even met comic books and stuff like that. So I'm as much into comic books than I am into movies. I work and I binge watch movies.
Right.
It's like my radio. I listen to music, or sometimes I put a movie in the background. I don't even need to watch the screen.
Right.
I've watched that, like Vampires. I've watched that movie so much that I just listen to it. I don't even need to look at the screen. You see it in
your head.
Yeah, I see it in my head while I'm drawing.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer a question over here. Darko D13. Did the Ghosts of Mars part happen in a similar way? You know what? Sandy and John like working with a lot of the same people. That's why you'll see the same people in their films.
Yep.
And after I had done Vampires for them, she was like, hey, let's bring you in and have you do a part on Ghosts of Mars. I mean, it wasn't as elaborate as the Vampires role, but she was like, hey, come in. You just be this, crazy psycho kind of ghost. And, you're going to be sharpening your teeth.
No,
I'm like,
filing them.
Filing my teeth, just like.
I rewatched Ghost from Mars not too long ago, trying to like look at it and going, like, why is those people don't like it as much? What don't I like from it? Right? Personally, as a person, what throws me off? And I think the only thing I came up with is Ice Cube.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like I like Ice Cube.
I do
but
too.
He ain't no actor, and
No.
I'm
But
sorry.
not in
He breaks the immersion as soon as you fucking see him.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's
He's
the
miscast.
thing that makes the movie. It's the thing that makes the movie break. I'm sorry
Yeah.
if you.
Yeah, he's miscast, and also the fact that you don't get enough Pam Grier. Pam Grier's up in there. That's
Oh, Pam Grier was
Exactly.
awesome. What's her name? The girl from
Natasha
Natasha
Species.
Henstridge.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Species. That was another good one.
Natasha. Yep.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Oh yeah, folks, in the chat, if you got any questions for Margene or for any comments about the movie, by all means, please chime in. We do try to be a interactive show. And just also really quick, folks in the chat, Lipstick, I see you up in there. You know, everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Smash that like button if you have the inclination to. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it does kind of it tickles the algorithm's butt with a feather, if you know what I'm. If you know what I'm saying.
You guys don't mind that I quote tweeted and tagged James Woods in this, do you?
No, of course not. Look,
James don't give a fuck. It looks like, you know.
Oh, he gives. First of all, he gives zero fucks. He gives zero fucks.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping
somebody.
I said sharing. We're sharing the love, bro, and I tagged him. You know.
Well, look. Here's the thing. He and I are on opposite ends of the political spectrum. It's one of the things I always liked about John Carpenter, right? He's a lefty, big old lefty like me, right? Gets along just fine with somebody like Kurt Russell, who's on the right. Gets along just fine with somebody
Like it should be. I don't even know why we have to. I don't even know why we have to mention that shit. You know when people are like, no, I really like that guy. I don't agree with everything he says.
I know.
But no one agrees with everything that someone says.
Exactly.
How many times you're sitting with your friend says something, you go, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure that
please don't change, but you're
don't change, but you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
Well, I just like to make sure somebody knows when we're spreading the love about something that we like that they did. And since we're sitting here talking about a movie that he was like the star in, I figure I'd tag him and let him know we're sharing the love, bro.
My favorite James Wood movie.
And you know what? It never. I'll never pass up the opportunity to say what Voltaire said, which is, I disagree with what you say, but I defend unto death your right to say it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Hell.
And they fucked with Homeboy's rights. And if they could do it to him, they could do it to anybody else.
You can do it to anyone.
And people that are down with it, guess what? That's going to come back and bite you on the ass someday. Because one of these days, that's going to be turned against you.
It's like people forget the main thing that we all knew back in the days. It's the fact that you want people to know that that person's a jerk, an asshole, a monster. Yeah, don't try to cancel him. You're just going to make him famous. Just let him talk. Just let him go and talk. Let people realize by themselves instead of telling them. Yes. And that's how it works. You know, there's no better purifier than the goddamn sunlight.
The funniest part of it is, and Brian knows what I'm saying when I say this, is I used to be a young advocate for the legalization of marijuana, a young free speech advocate, and I was, guess what? A liberal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at me now. I'm still that same free speech advocate. I'm still that same legalized.
Yeah, but you don't get to choose what you are. We tell you.
But
exactly.
I just hate political labels anyways. It's like, hey, are we not all human? We're all the same.
The ground moved underneath me, though.
When did politics turn into hockey?
I'm conservative for the same values.
When did politics turn into hockey?
I'm considered a conservative, and I have the same values that I had then.
Yeah.
The ground moved under me. I haven't changed who I am.
Everybody, we have to observe silence for a moment because a Canadian is talking about hockey.
Oh no, I'm not talking. I just said, since when did politics turn into hockey?
Sim,
I
sorry,
don't even watch
what were you
hockey.
saying, brother? No, I know. I'm just busting balls.
And you know what? I played football.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is that with your feet?
Canadian football or
no,
soccer?
the American football. The Canadian football is like American. We're not European here.
Okay, just checking.
You know, you may say you keep calling me French, but I'm not European.
They call
I'm
all kinds of
Canadian.
things
We're
football
like
now.
the other Americans.
Not only is he Canadian, he's from Quebec.
Yep.
Very different.
Very, very,
Quebecois.
very like you guys,
Quebecois.
but in French.
Quebecois.
And of course, Sim knows why I always like
Yes.
saying the word Quebecois, because I just like saying the word Quebecois. But
So
geez,
James,
man.
if you're watching, we love you, bro. You did good in this one.
We do. We love
Oh,
you, James.
dude. I mean, it's a standout performance. He's absolutely fantastic in this, and what they're doing to him is bullshit. And
Yep.
I'm glad that he's fighting it in court.
Yeah, another movie I love from him, and you might think it's laughable. I like him in Hercules. He was a fucking sick ass 80s.
Hercules?
In Hercules, the animated movie, dude.
Oh, I never saw that. I never saw
In the movie,
He's
yes.
Hades. He's
Yes,
fucking
that's right.
awesome.
He's Hades. Yep.
He's
That's
Hades.
awesome.
He's fucking awesome, dude.
I'll
It's just
actually
like-
watch that now. I had like zero
you
interest
have
in that
to. It's
before,
one of
and now I'll check it out.
It's one of my all-time
Yeah,
favorite
he's
fucking
great.
Disney
He's great.
movies. Yeah, that with Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, soon.
And what's great about his performance in this is the fact that there's a lot of humor there, but it doesn't ever break the fictional world of the film. It never goes against the character. It's never out of character. You just realize that this is a guy that's a little bit of an a-hole, and he kind of enjoys being an a-hole and has fun with it.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like before, you reminded me of Dennis Leary. Remember when back in the
Yes.
days with his
Yeah.
NyQuil and all that? I'm an asshole. Like that's him.
Yep.
Yeah.
S-S-H-O. Like you're expecting James Wood to start singing the song in the truck.
Right. But the thing
Right.
is, he's the a-hole that's going to save your butt.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing is what we call the asshole with a cause. You know, the asshole with a purpose. Like he may be a dick, but he's like, it's like saying the honest dick. He's just not. He's not being hypocritical. He's not being an asshole for just the hell of being mean. He just is.
Yeah,
Right.
He's just being
He's had a
straightforward
horrible
to everybody, and that's
He's
what I
had
like
a
about
horrible
it.
life. He's had a horrible life, like he says, look, Padre, I killed my own father.
Right.
Raised by the Vatican, he makes jokes about the pedophiles, so you know that he lets you know that he was abused by some of them. So that's the entire premise. When you pay attention to the story, he tells you everything about him and why he's like that, and just by little comments, dude. It's one of the reasons why I love that goddamn movie.
Yeah, I do too. And I think
she's
it
fucking
gets
awesome.
I think it gets a bum rap. And those of you that maybe saw it like back in the Disney and didn't like it, give it another look.
Give it another whirl.
Definitely.
Dude, there's many people that tell me they hated that movie, and when they rewatch it later, they all go, "Dude, you were right. It's fucking good." I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
That means you, Chris, if you're listening right now. That means you, brother.
Yep. Watch it.
Watch it again. With new eyes. But you know what? That's the weird thing about Carpenter. One of the things that separates him from every other filmmaker, I don't know what it is, but his movies age better than anybody else's.
Right.
Even a lot of his films that I used to consider kind of like fair to middling, I'm like, damn, that was great.
Yeah, because now you look at it with a different eye.
Yeah,
because
it's uncanny. It's uncanny.
Like onions. His movies are like onions, man.
It doesn't go with the trendy, cheesy of the era. It goes with the iconic, people type of reaction of the era type of thing.
I
So
think
it's
I use this adjective to describe Mike Baron's writing. There's layers to what this guy does.
Like onions.
Layers. You're just peeling away layer after layer to get to the heart of what it is. And I don't know if you get to the heart the first time you watch it. You might have to watch it 3-4 times to find really what it's the message.
The opposite between the good old before movies, before the 2000, you could say, the year 2000. Let's be honest here. Before the 2000 is you would rewatch movie and find cool shit. The movie would get better. Now you would go rewatch those new movies and you're like, first one, oh, that was cool. You watch the second, I go, what the fuck did I like in it?
Yes.
Right.
That's so true.
Everything
That's
kind
so
of
true.
changed when when the digital format took over. Like everything changed.
But it's like if your story and what's happening behind them, like your society, appreciation or what you want to point out. Sorry, having the French word in my head right now, and it's not translating properly. So when that's what
right.
you're
Sometimes
aiming
we
on,
have
like,
English, you know, we have English words in our heads. They don't translate properly.
and the thing is that those movies focus on the characters. I've said it before. The
Yes.
reason why they age so well is
Yeah,
because
the
they're
character
focused
driven.
on the characters,
Focus on the
and
character.
they don't try to make the character stereotype of the year. They're making people.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
with strengths and flaws, and that's why they age well. It's not a stereotype of that freaking 1999. That let's take that groupie little girl that's famous right now and let's make a character exactly like her.
Right.
No, because that would be very what's in the era of what's there. So when you watch it 5 years later, it doesn't fit anymore. It's like, imagine if I make a horror movie and I'm taking that boomer girl, hey boomer, and I'm making a character exactly like her. It's not gonna age well.
No. All this crap
But
that's
you
coming
could
out
take-
right now, it's already dated.
But you
It's
could
already
take
dated.
you could take
And
what's
that's-
behind that character that made her do the boomer video. That's a character.
And that's what I'm saying about the whole digital streaming, because it's like, if you think about it, it's like when, you know, we're talking about when films were made on film.
Yep.
Yeah.
When films were made on film. And
Yeah.
it's very different when you have, you know, when the machine is trying to just feed you certain information and they don't want to
Yep.
give you any other information, right? Which is why all of us probably like, you know, independent films or whatever. But
Yep.
you know, film used to have a natural break in the actual information. You know, you had a
Right.
frame. You actually had a
Exactly.
frame, and there's that little strip. Even though your film is going at 128 frames per second, there's a break in the information, and your brain processes it very
Yeah, the
differently.
breather.
Our friend
Then
Hart was talking about
streaming.
this
Yeah,
too.
Hart.
You have to slow down, let people breathe, get the information that's going.
Yes.
Depending, because there's also the movie like Snatch, not Snatch. What's that? The one with Statham there.
Jason
Jason
Statham.
Statham.
Jason Statham,
Lock,
where
Lock.
he's running. When he's running and he had the heart thing.
Oh, Cranked.
Crank.
Crank.
Okay, like that's one of the movies that it doesn't stop. It still stops for a fraction of a second in mid place,
Right.
right? But it never freaking stops because they're trying to
Right.
elude the fact that it's happening one
Yeah,
minute
he's on
after
a-
the other. It's
Real
after the
time.
other. It just he doesn't have time to compute. He doesn't have time to realize
Right.
what the fuck's going on, and it still has
Yeah.
to keep going. That works for that, but even there,
Right.
they have to take some
Because that's
breathers.
just right. That's
now
to
you-
create an effect. That's to
Yeah, but
create
that-
yeah.
Those are the movies that are happening when you're following a character that you like or dislike that goes within the hour, right? When you're
Right.
trying to spawn a story within days, you cannot do that.
No, not at all. But meanwhile, you'll get something like Escape from LA, which we were talking about before, and there's that scene where Snake is just like fatigued, and he just like picks up a chair and sits
Yeah.
down in it, and you're perfectly happy
Yeah.
and fine to just
Yeah.
watch him just sit
For a minute. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a minute and take a breath, right?
Mhm.
Those films these days, they're made to they're too damn long. They don't understand pacing.
And bring
at
back
all.
the end at the end, please.
Yes, one ending. One ending.
Definitive. And we got a question.
You know
from
when it
Dark
says
Knight
the
13.
end at the end of the movie, so people can know they have
One
to go
ending.
back to the real world.
Finn. Yeah, you were saying, Matt.
We got a question from Darko D13.
Okay.
Hey, Darko.
What up, Darko? I guess I'll
Ask
ask
about
about.
those.
Oh, of course, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, if I can. No, you may not, sir. No,
That's right.
that's all
The
good.
date's over.
Request denied. Finish
How do
him.
Darko D13 wants to know, Margine, how do you feel about it? He says he rewatched it recently. The villains were the best part for me.
Yeah, the villains are always the best part, you know, in a video game movie, right? Because everybody's always like, yeah, they're the most badass in the game
Right.
with their moves. You know, I just did a whole podcast about the whole, you know, my experience on it. And you know what? To be part of that world
Yeah.
has been absolutely amazing. It's like it's that universe that'll never die. Because it's like, hey, I was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That was the second part. They're on Mortal Kombat 11. And I'm like, I'm like, really? Like I've only seen 2. Like I didn't watch any of the series. I didn't watch this latest one. I'm like, I have no idea what's happening beyond my world of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. right? And you know, it was one of the best times I had.
Oh wow!
We were all working together, and you know, it's an ensemble cast, so everybody got to work together, and we were on that thing for months and months. And like I said, my experience with it was like I auditioned 7 times. It was the hardest. It was the hardest job I worked for to get a role, you know, because I wanted that role so bad. And I was just like, I got to have this role. I'm right for this role. I'm perfect for this role, you know?
Right.
And then when things came around to it and they cut out a lot of the fight stuff that she was supposed to do, I was like, I just went to the producers and I was like, you might as well just cut the character. And they were like, no, well, we're not going to do that. And I was like, but you just cut out the thing that people want to see her do, which is
just kick ass.
Just kick ass and fight. And she does none of that. Well, we have to have her in. And I was like, why? Why? Because you're going to piss a lot of people off. And that's
they do that with the X-Men movies sometimes too. Yeah. But like, oh, we'll just have that character there, just, you know, just to have them. Well, no, you want people are fans of characters because they want to see the character do stuff.
Yeah.
And especially if it's a character from a fighting game.
Right.
Right?
What other character in the game is in the movie that doesn't have fight? None.
Okay, let's just be frank here. Okay? Anybody that saw the first freaking Mortal Kombat movie sitting in theater and you see that big logo and it goes boom, everybody wanted to fight. Everybody wanted to get up and fucking fight.
So all we want to see is when he gets knocked down and the spikes start coming up.
It's
you know what? The theme hits. That's pretty badass.
The CGI is janky as hell.
Totally.
But it's still a fun movie, and at least they got Robin Shou. Right? They got somebody from the Hong Kong movie industry.
Yep.
You get like the Shang-Chi movie. I'm like, Simu who?
Let's be frank.
You didn't get Donnie Yen. You didn't get Tony Jaa. You didn't get Iko Uwais. Like what?
Right.
Let's come on. Let's be honest. Some people think the story is shit. I think the movie technically is like, you know, the story is weak. The effects are not that great. But I do have to give this though. I love every fucking time, like the characters, the bad guys when they come in. When you see Shiva, when you see Kentaro, when you see the guy with the horse, it's everything's freaking cool. But when it becomes to the applied of it in the fight, it was so you know, it's kind of like one of those where you had a great cast, you had a great possibility of something, but then the delivery was
franchise killer.
You know, it's one of the things I heard a lot of freaking movies before. Like I was watching a documentary about Galaxina and stuff like that, and you know they come in and they rip a whole, like somebody comes in and goes, oh, we don't have the budget that we thought, and they just start ripping pages of the script, and it ends up like they take out jokes, they take out action, and they're just like, and then they go, oh, we don't know what happened. The movie sucked. Why? Because you fucking ripped out the good pages.
Yeah,
that's what happened to the new Hellboy.
No, you won't. You can't. You don't have anything to fix it with.
Right.
Like, there's so many people that weren't in movies, and at the end they weren't in the final cut because they got cut out entirely.
Yes, their entire characters.
Yep.
And sometimes, and then you have movies that that reek of post production editing fuckery, where you have characters that show up and then they just disappear from the film.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you'll have a character that suddenly seems like they walked in from a different movie.
Because they did.
That's how I felt with Shiva. That's how I felt with Shiva when you watch the movie. Like she comes in with a badass entrance and then.
Yeah.
Right.
I turned it off after I think about like 25, 30 minutes at max. And it was funny because like the first Mortal Kombat movie, it's like, boy, the CGI is really janky. A lot of it really doesn't hold up. But you have a practical effects Goro.
Right.
Which that is in and of itself gets it across the finish line for me. And then you have it actually had a heart, right? It actually had, you know, a little. Annihilation just felt like a cash in. It just felt soulless and missed opportunity. Hugely missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But still, you are part of the Mortal Kombat universe.
Exactly. And still had a blast. Still the only Shiva in the live action show out of
It
11.
suffered from the rush.
That's right. You were in the TV series too.
No.
Oh wait, no, I'm getting that mixed up. You were on Beastmaster.
Beastmaster. Yep.
Right. Yes, the Beastmaster. For those of you that aren't aware, this was a Beastmaster TV series that was in the '90s. That was
Late
kind of
90s, early 2000s.
Mark Singer,
Yeah.
right? Mark Singer, is that who?
No, he's not in that because
He's in season 3.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
he
He
really?
actually shows up
Yeah.
in season 3. Yeah.
Who's in the
Oh, I
beginning?
didn't know
That's
that. I didn't know that.
Daniel Goddard is the Beastmaster.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Because this was like around the era when the Sam Raimi produced Hercules series was a big hit.
Yes.
So they were doing kind of knockoffs of that.
Yeah.
Like they did a Conan series. Mit Ralph Mueller.
Ralph Mueller.
Yep.
The new Conan.
The new Conan.
The new Conan.
Mm-hmm.
And Beastmaster was one of those. I don't think Don Coscarelli was
didn't do it?
involved with any of the Beastmaster sequels or the TV
No.
series, which is a shame. But that was one of those movies. It bombed at the box office, and then it came out on cable, and it found its audience.
Became a huge, massive hit.
Huge,
but
massive hit after
it
the
happens to
fact.
so
But Hollywood
goddamn
doesn't
movies.
respect that shit.
It happens
Yeah.
to so goddamn many movies.
Yeah.
Dread being the most recent example.
Right.
Although I think that mistake with that was just releasing it in 3D, because
Well-
people forget it wasn't called Dread. It was called Dread 3D.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and the 3D looked great, but
It
I
was
think a
dope.
lot of people didn't want to pay like the extra $250 or whatever it was to see it in 3D. There was a lot of crap that was being retrofitted into 3D that looked like, because
As
let's
bad
face it,
as the
it's a gimmick.
CGI is nowadays, I'm just not really down with the 3D on top of it. I'm just saying.
No
Right.
shit, man.
Dread looked really good though. That movie looked bad in the theater. I seen it in 3D.
Which one?
Dread. With
Oh,
Carl
it's
Urban.
amazing. Yeah, I was there
Yeah.
day one, dude. I was there day
Yeah.
one, and I was like, this is awesome. This is like something that was made from the 80s. It
Yep.
is very, very John Carpenter.
Carpenter. Absolutely. A
Uh,
little bit Dirty Harry too.
You're seeing that from British filmmakers. It's not so much American filmmakers that are imitating Carpenter. It's British filmmakers.
Right.
Attack the Block, for instance. That's a total John Carpenter movie. The Raid, that's a total John Carpenter
right.
movie. Dread, total John Carpenter movie. But
And everything Robert Rodriguez does, totally with Carpenter.
To me, Rodriguez was like the modern Carpenter. Like
He
like,
is.
down to a T. Like he was even
I'm
doing
sa-
the fucking music, like for his movies, like and good. You know.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm just saying it. I love those two fuckers.
Yeah, me too.
Marcin, I have to know.
Okay.
What is it like getting to like hang out and like cuddle a tiger?
Terrifying.
Like, please don't get pissed. Please don't get pissed. Please don't get pissed. Please
That's
don't
the
get
right
pissed. I'm not
answer.
free.
Like, I
That's the
hope
right
you've
answer.
been
Oh my
fed.
god.
I hope you've been fed. The first day I had to work with, the first day I show up on set, I had to work with the tigers. And, there's a whole list of rules when you're working with tigers, lions, big cats, like no sudden movements, no loud, sounds, all of this shit, right? And my scene, they're like, no, we just want you to run in, say your dialogue, and then run out. I'm like, the rules right here say don't
No
run,
sudden
or
movement.
no fast movements. I'm like, really?
Damn.
Because I'm looking at
like-
the picture. I'm looking at the picture and I'm thinking, oh my God, she's so lucky. That would be so awesome. But then I'm imagining myself
Yeah.
actually being there.
Super.
And this is a very different story.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest. She looks like she's trying to be cool, but she looks
I was
scared, bro.
trying to be cool. I was like, oh, just be cool, just be
And
cool.
the
you're-
cat
you're
looks like,
it.
I'm so high right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, cats like,
Catnip.
they just gave me some shit, But,
Tiger nip.
it was scary because it's like these guys handled these tigers all the time. They came from the studio. They came from Warner Brothers. They had a show down there with these tigers. These were tigers that were constantly on stage, constantly in the public eye, but there were still the rules, right? And they had these tigers since they were babies. They had grown them up. And, we used them on the show all the time. And there just happened to be one time where one of the handlers had on something that smelled really tasty. And that handler had handled that tiger over and over and over and over again, was one of its regular handlers, and it mauled him.
Oh
you know, and it's like, yeah, this, yeah, you
Remember
know,
what happened to those two brothers with their tigers?
Scary.
it's just, it's scary, you know. So it's like, you definitely, you know, they always say as an actor, there's two things you don't work with: babies and animals.
Yeah,
because they will upstage you every single fucking scene.
And some of them could maybe just possibly take your head off.
Could
right?
possibly,
Like a Tootsie Pop. Crunch.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, like the old tiger that we used, Sasha,
Yeah.
she was, you know, she was older.
Yeah.
And she was the one that was, you know, the lead character, Beastmaster's like tiger. That was the one that, you know, it's like, was in there the most of the time. I mean, we had her on soundstage one day and she was fucking unhappy. She was like just a cranky bitch that day. And all I heard was this, rah, 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 and I was like, I'm fucking out. No,
Right.
I'm not
Like a
hanging
person,
around.
I'm not dealing with you today.
Yeah, I'm not hanging around to see if she comes running around the corner because she's pissed and she's running loose in the soundstage. I'm like,
my God.
no. Gone.
Oh,
not happening.
Feet don't fail me now.
That's right. Feet don't fail me now.
Oh,
I was
my
in big
God.
shape back then, and I was like, gone. But it is cool. I mean, it's cool. It's cool, and it's, you know, I have really great pictures to, you know, it's like, just be cool, just be cool. You know, who is that says that all the time? Just be cool, just be cool. From what movie is that from? I don't know, but it's so fun.
Be cool. Everyone, be cool. It's
Full Fiction.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Remember that movie? Be Cool.
Full
Yes.
Fiction. Full Fiction.
Oh, is that what it was?
No,
Samuel
there's a movie
Jackson.
called Be.
That's Hold On, I thought.
Well,
No, there's
Be
actually a
Cool,
movie
man.
called Be Cool.
Be cool, bitch.
There's a movie called Be Cool. I did stunts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did
Oh,
stuff
really?
on that
I did
too?
stunts on Be Cool.
No, wait a minute.
Yep.
Be cool with
The Rock.
Travolta, DeVito.
DeVito. Yeah, you
I'll be
got
right
to
back.
hang
It's
with
gonna
Danny.
get a
Did you
refill.
get to hang with
Rock's
Danny?
in there.
No. No, I was in
No,
a
the
team
best-
where it was just a bunch of us stunt people, and
I'm still waiting for Danny DeVito to play Puck.
Dude,
Or Wolverine.
we love Danny DeVito around here.
I
Okay?
think Puck would be
He's
better. Mouthful fight.
so funny.
Imagine like a circus dude. Yeah, totally him.
Well, you did in the Dumbo movie. He was the
I don't know. I see him. Remember Twins?
yeah.
Right.
No, that's how I see Puck. That's why I mean Puck. The way he is in there, you know?
Little
Right.
bastard.
Yeah, the little
also,
bastard.
She was also like did a scene in Jurassic Park, in one of the Jurassic Park movies, and we told you she's been TV shows, so many things. It's like we're gonna have to have you out. We're gonna have to highlight like something you're in once in a while, every so often, and have you out. You know, to talk about each one as opposed to trying to jam it all into one show, man. Because you got way too much. It's like I told Brian, I said, man, she got a longer credit sheet than I do rap sheet, bro.
Yeah, I got a rap sheet. You know, I mean, because I started out, well, look, I started out modeling, and then I moved to acting, and then from acting, I was on a film, and there was a stunt coordinator who was there visiting his wife because she was doing stunts on this little B movie that I was co-starring in, and he was like, "Hey, I know you're like an actress and everything, but do you want to do some stunts?" And I was just like, "Well, what would I have to do?" And he was like, "You know, not much, you know, but." At that point in time in my career, that was 1991. And he was like, you know, there's really not any Black stunt women. There's like 3. And I went, I'm in. Shit. And none of them were 6 foot tall. So it wasn't like I was going to take any work away from any of the other girls because they were much shorter than me. And
Right.
we all had different skill sets. Right. So I was like, I'll keep doing my stunts. I'll keep doing my acting. And I ultimately worked way more as a stunt person than I did as an actor.
See, now you look like way more relaxed with the elephant than you
Yes,
did
the
with the
elephant
tiger.
was way more fun than the tiger.
Oh man. Oh,
That
you-
was so awesome.
Oh, I'm thinking like I'm so jelly. I'm very jelly that you got to. Oh man,
They
this
were
is such
beautiful.
incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing working with the elephants. They're very docile. So, Beastmaster, there were a lot of, my particular clan and who I worked for were all the bad guys, right? So there were always fights happening. And I tell you something, we had this big battle scene where all these, Nordic warriors come running down. They're supposed to come running down the hill, and the elephants are supposed to be running with them. And the elephants were freaking out because they're yelling and screaming, and the elephants are like, wait, what the fuck is happening?
Oh, no.
They're like, nah. And they're like going the opposite way because they're sensing and feeling conflict. They're so sensitive. They're like, no, I'm not down with this. Right?
Wait a second. We're going into a fight? I didn't sign up for this.
I didn't sign up for this.
You're not a war elephant.
They're like,
I ain't got
no.
no problem with nobody.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, I don't got no beef with nobody. I'm out of here.
I've heard that they're very special animals.
They really are. Oh my god.
Really smart.
Yeah, really smart. And and riding them is just like, it's a whole different ball game. You think, oh, just get on like a horse. Nah. Like you're sitting on their ball joints of their actual, their two front legs, but on the joints. So every time they move, it's not just like, oh, plink, plink, plink. It's like, conk, conk, conk.
Like a
whoa,
Stairmaster.
Whoa. And you're just feeling like you're going to get launched off at every single, and they're like, hold on to their ears, just hold on to her ears. And I'm like, really? And they're like, trust me, she can't even feel it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, don't worry, you're not going to hurt her.
You won't hurt her. She's good with it. It's like, oh my God.
They're so beautiful, man. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Oh, that's.
But you can see, like, if you watch the opening of Beastmaster, me and Daniel riding the elephant was one of the shots they used for, like, the title cards for me, for my character, Margene Holden as Arena. Yeah. And you can look at my face.
Yeah.
Look at my face in that sequence. You can tell I am totally petrified. I'm like, I'm gonna throw off this damn thing. It's a long way down. Right, but when you see it, you're like, "Yep, there it is, right there, right there."
I love inside information like that. Like when Malcolm McDowell said he was shooting Blue Thunder, that he got really bad motion sickness, right? And so he's flying around. He's the bad guy in this helicopter, and he's looking to kill Roy Scheider. And he's like, "Understand? I was trying very hard not to puke."
Yeah.
And so he's trying to look all tough, and he's
thrown up in his mouth.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes that adds to the goddamn performance.
It can.
Hey, you work a lot harder to not look messed up when you're messed up. You're working harder to be in character.
Let's just say your resting bitch face gets serious when you're feeling that way.
Right. And that's the thing about acting. You don't want to get caught acting.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
For real.
Well, good actors don't get caught out.
I'm like, you look tall, and I'm like, how tall are you?
That's the only thing. Like, sometimes I'll be watching a movie and the person starring in it will suddenly become who they are. I like Tom Cruise in some movies, but in some movies he's just Tom Cruise.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's like, I know exactly. It's the same thing with Bruce Willis.
It's the same with Bruce, because that's who they are. Right. So sometimes you can see them and not the character they're playing.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't play the character. It's their character that sells the movie in a way. So you're going to see
John
like him as the,
Yeah, or Elvis or somebody like that. That's when I heard that Will Smith had been cast in I Am Legend. I was like, oh no. But I was like, wait a second, are we gonna get Will Smith like the Will Smith, or get like the proper actor that was in 6 Degrees of Separation? Which one are we going to get? And so the movie came out, and I couldn't stand it, but there were a lot of things wrong with it, but he wasn't one of them. Like he was actually, I was like, yeah, no, he was actually spot on as that character, as Neville. But
it's like, I got 99 problems with it, and he wasn't one of them.
Yeah. yes. Well, my main problem being that there weren't any damn vampires. There's no vampires. Wait, you're doing I Am Legend with no vampires? Like
no vampires.
Vampires are legends.
Yes.
Zombies.
But they are technically vampires.
Zombie vampires.
All right,
Yeah.
let's see Margine whip some ass here.
Yeah.
Man, just doing these men of God dirty.
Yep.
Oh, really, Martine?
Oh,
Really?
opened up the back of his skull on the wall.
So
Wow.
that's I think it was John Vitale. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Because we were having such a ball, you know, it's like the middle of the night and it's cold and we're like, you know, doing this scene and he's just like, you know, they kept telling him, stop smiling, like she's killing you. Like, stop smiling. And he was just like having the best time and he was just like, oh my God, I've got the hottest vampire kicking my ass. Stop smiling. Like, this is supposed to be serious.
He just wanted to do it over and over. He
Bring
was
it on, baby. Bring it on.
wanting to do it again. Let's do that again. It's so, you know, I'm like, oh, you're one of those kind. Okay.
He was dying for it.
Some people
dying
are
to be
just
in
a
that.
little freaky like that.
Right.
It's just like,
oh
my God, I'm just loving this so much. I hope we can do another take.
Kelly must go up again.
No, dude, you can't blame the guy. If you've ever been pinned to a wall by a chick, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And you know who that one is right there, right?
Yeah.
No.
So go back just to that, just prior to that, to the vampire, right after I throw him against the wall. Right there.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
No.
That's Chad Stahelski.
Uh-huh.
Chad Stahelski is the director from the John Wick movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he was young stunt double in The Matrix.
No
Wow.
shit.
Yeah,
Crazy,
yeah, that's Chad.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so. Oh, I love shit like that.
Yeah.
I love shit like that. Yeah. Like if you watch Tarantula from
That's
like the
twice
1950s,
we surprised him with
it's-
somebody in the movie.
Right.
It's like when
Same
you're
movie.
watching like Tarantula or some movie like that, like an old like giant insect a monster movie from like the 1950s, and like the F-16 pilot is like Clint Eastwood, but he's like wearing like an oxygen mask.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. Yeah. Or actually, Frank Darabont is in this.
Mm-hmm.
And man, actually, this movie is the reason that I recognized Frank Darabont at the New York Comic Con.
Ah.
But I didn't have any of my comics with me, and I should have. This is like after they screwed him with the Walking Dead, right?
Right.
And they had come to like a financial agreement, and so he was there at the convention, like in a formal capacity to promote the show and everything, even though they had screwed him out of it. And if I had my comic with me, I would have been like, "Oh, hey, Frank!
Right.
here's your next comic book adaptation." And which is why I always tell that story to my fellow comic creators, because I'm just like, yeah, if you're just walking around the convention, have copies of your comic with you.
Right.
Oh, dude, I sent a
'Cause you
copy
never
of
know who you
Blood
can
Hunt to
run
Robert
into.
Rodriguez.
What was
There's
that?
Two places. I said I sent a copy of Blood Hunt to Robert Rodriguez. The both places that he lives.
Oh, nice. A friend of mine personally
good stuff.
hand delivered this trade paperback to Guillermo del Toro. So Guillermo, I'm answering my call. I'm answering my phone. Hit me up anytime.
Right. Call me.
For this, right?
Oh, I think I have a clue. And this is, and once again, that's another John Carpenter thing. His movie, his good movies, and that's like, I mean, boy, it's very few clunkers, right?
Yeah.
Village of the Damned, I think, and Ghosts of Mars for me. Like those are the two clunkers from him.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's the other one, the one in the nursery thing, I think.
Oh, the Ward. It's
The Ward.
forgettable.
Word, that dude, I could not even
For me, it
finish
would be
it.
the Word. That's like the one where I'm like,
It's
It's the one I don't like, and I really can't. Like
I think here's the thing. I think it's very forgettable. It's not bad, but I really, and this is really just my guess, is that Carpenter has decided that, you know what, I don't want to end up like Argento. I don't want to end up like
I don't
Toby
think so.
Hooper. I don't want to end up where George Romero was headed.
I think
before
he
he passed away.
I think he went. I don't want to get Joe Silver. I don't want to get the Snyder cut.
Yeah,
and fuck you guys. And that's I think that's pretty much it.
You might be right.
Yeah.
That's my guess as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's my guess as a fan.
The last movie he did that I love watching and I still watch 101. It's the short movie he did for Christine anniversary.
Now, fire stunts. Fire stunts. I feel so conflicted about fire stunts.
About what?
Fire stunts.
Fire stunts.
Oh.
Because on the one hand, I see like this crappy CGI fire that you see in movies these days, and it looks awful.
Right.
And then I see this, or like I got to see Maniac Cop 2 on a big screen, and there's that scene where Cordell's on fire and he's coming at the camera, and it's a guy that's on fire. So it's incredible. It's awesome. It's amazing. On the other hand, I'm thinking you're actually setting somebody on fire here.
Yeah, don't hurt my friends.
Is it really? Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, is it? It's like I'm
You're
conflicted.
lighting someone on fire on purpose.
And mind you, you're a stunt person, so you know stunt people.
Did you
They're
ever
lunatics.
Did you
They're
ever do that,
lunatics.
Brian?
What was that?
Did you ever do that?
Set myself on fire?
Yes.
Yes, as a kid, all the time.
But using the gas and yeah.
Well, yeah, I would put like rags. Look, I was a little pyromaniac. I love burning shit, blowing shit up.
Okay,
right?
but you know there's a gel you can buy because remember I check into special effects back then, right?
Yep.
And I did makeup, and one of the things is the gel. And
Yeah,
dude,
fire burns.
I scared so many fucking people with this shit that it's not fucking funny. Like I put some on my hand, right? The thing is, I would put it on I would put it like on my hand a little bit, then take my Zippo, and light my cigarette up, and my hand would start burning, and people were like, "Dude, your hand's on fire," and I'm just looking at my hand, I'm like, "Oh, would you look at that? Huh. Oh well," and then it just dies off.
You're my man after my own heart, Sim. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I know about that stuff. It's crazy. I understand that there's safety protocols and everything, and that these people are trained. They know how to do this stuff. I understand that.
The biggest danger is their eyes. To be quite honest, the biggest danger is the eyes because you don't feel that much heat until I don't know, when it's starting to burn up at the end. The thing is, the heat will burn your eyes.
Yes.
Like maybe not your skin, it will burn your hair and your eyes.
Yeah. And I mean, when I was making short films, I had people in uncomfortable positions, people that, are troopers and will sit there with like fake blood freezing to their face in like the dead of winter, right? But I never asked somebody to set themselves on fire for me.
Right.
So it's like I said,
that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's like I said, I feel conflicted. It's like on the one hand, it looks awesome. On the other hand, it is just a movie. Do you really?
Well, I can tell you that one of the funniest part is when you see those guys doing it for the dude. They're so like, do it, wake me up.
Dude.
Oh yeah, for real.
They're so into it. It's a thrill for them.
Yeah, they're nuts. Yeah. It was John Milius was talking about directing whatchamacallit. It was Dillinger. And there was a guy, a stuntman, that begged him, please, let me throw myself down a flight of stairs.
Right.
Mm-hmm. and the guy, he's just like, dude, what? He's like, please let me do it. Oh, it'll look so awesome. And you see the stunt in the movie, and it is amazing.
Me was a stunt I did was the one with the cardboard when you're leaping off a building. When I saw them doing it, I'm like, I have to do this, and they're like, dude, like I want to do it. I don't give a fuck. I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and it was fucking great.
oh, dude! If you're like skydiving or anything like that, you end up having a rush that like lasts for like 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
I won't say what else you get, but it's fun.
Yeah. But I mean,
say what else you get, but I know
you get the stunt people are like wrestlers, right? It's you talk to them, you get to know them a little bit. They're not stupid. So what does that leave? Crazy. Right?
No, or they're very fucking OCD and they're very calculated. Because some of them are they're meticulous as hell.
Oh,
everything's calculated to their very fucking second and millimeter.
Yeah.
They know exactly what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
Like it's like Evel Knievel look like a fucking idiot. He's not that much of an idiot.
No.
You knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, like
but
I'm
the
not...
show is
Yeah.
look, I'm the goofy guy. You want me to fucking crash, and I'm gonna surprise you, and I'm not gonna crash. Right. That was the entire gimmick. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I take nothing away from these people in terms of their craft, right? And that they bust their ass and that they study. Because obviously, if you're going to be doing something like that, you want somebody that knows what they're doing. That's not going to get hurt.
When I was a teen, I wanted to be a stuntman. That's how I got to do all those cool stuff because I went into one of those places. So I leaped off a fucking building. It was fucking awesome.
And I just want to say again, this dude right here is a crazy. Is as good as a crazy vampire as he is as a crazy sensei.
Yes. Underrated.
Yeah.
But the Cobra. I mean, boy, he hit hard. As Silver in the Cobra Kai series.
It just totally
that'll give him a little renaissance.
Totally revived it for me. It just reminded me of everything he's done since. But like I said, revising a character like that, actually all of them have done pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
All of them have done pretty good revising their characters.
Oh, yeah,
but this dude came out as just exactly what you would have expected.
Scene stealer.
He just seems pure evil, too. Like, he delivers the evilness.
Did you say he was a writer?
Yeah, he's a writer.
Oh, really?
He's one of the lead writers on the series Grimm.
Ooh, no kidding.
Him and his wife.
Was creative.
No shit.
Yeah, very creative show.
See, now I got to go look and see which ones he wrote and watch them all again.
He wrote and directed. Him and his wife married. They wrote a lot of the episodes of Grimm, and he directed quite a few.
That's so cool. Oh, good for him. Oh, good for them.
We are learning a whole bunch tonight, guys. But you know what? We got about
don't
we got about 25 minutes. So let's get through the movie. And Margene, you have an open invite anytime you want.
Yeah, seriously.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Seriously, Margene, you have been an absolute joy and a pleasure. And
it's great meeting you.
Yeah, seriously. And
hey, it's nice meeting you guys too. It's been awesome.
And you are a friend of the show and always welcome. And also if you're ever interested in any comic book stuff,
big time.
Like I said before, if you want, I'll send me your email. I'll send you a digital copy of Bloodhound right away. And I'll keep your contact. And it's not falling into deaf ear that you want to do some voice acting.
All of these people are in the madness, Margene. These guys are all in the comic-related madness. They're all easy to find. Anybody you want to be in contact with, let me know. I got you.
Fabulous. You all have my email now. There it is.
Hell yeah.
Private chat. Because I'm like, this is awesome. I absolutely love it.
I want to get through the movie real quick, and I want to give Margene a minute to tell you guys what she does when she's not stunting and acting, because that in itself is also amazing. So let's push through.
Oh shit!
He does the best oh shit face of anybody in acting.
Shit.
But that's the thing. It's just, it's like, as much as he has these scenes that are genuinely funny, where he's just like where he's freestyling, always brings it back. He doesn't cross that line of suddenly just being goofy and like messing with the world of the movie.
Right.
Like you look at the Marvel movies nowadays, for instance. I mean, they're just comedies now.
Yep.
And there's no sense of gravitas. There's no sense of
there's no
stakes. Yeah.
There ain't nothing to be afraid of, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be afraid of these big time villains, right?
Yeah, well here you've got
thing out, so you don't even feel like that Earth is really in danger. These guys are just clowning. They got this, no problem, right?
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Whereas, like, what I love about that scene is that suddenly Jack Crow is realizing, oh shit, like, you know those dudes that are like indestructible.
Yeah.
At night. Yeah, you just fucked up, and now they're going to be indestructible all the time.
Right. It's like,
they just leveled up. What's he going to do now?
Kiss your ass goodbye. Goodbye.
Right. And, you know, I mean, that's what you need stakes for. And,
Right.
you know, no pun intended.
I
This
was
is
gonna
a publicity shot right here.
It was, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Do you remember taking this?
I totally remember taking that.
How many times did they take it?
You know what? We didn't really do it that much. We had a great photographer. So it was like,
Cool.
hey, you know, let's go do glam vamps on the train tracks. Okay. Right. And we're missing a couple because who else isn't in there? Like Troy's
couple?
not in there and Anita's not in there. So there's two of us are missing.
And this was shot in New Mexico?
Yes.
Are there any
in Santa Fe?
Are there any goth clubs in Santa Fe? Because it would have been awesome if y'all had just shown up with the makeup. And
I know. I
the
don't know.
There are some
don't
very
remember.
old churches in Santa Fe. I know that.
Yes, some really old
Oh,
churches. I mean, we were in all kinds of great locations where, you know, it was just in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, I mean, we couldn't have gone to any clubs because, you know, we're friggin' vampires. We worked at night. This is probably the only day shot they have of us because
Right.
it was just before the sun went down. So they're like, oh, let's take it now while the sun is up. But this particular shot was done at the same location where we shot all of that stuff with the cross at the very end of the movie. Same location.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. Same
cool.
location. It was cool.
Man, this had to have been fun to just wow, being around when they were making this.
Yeah, I mean, and it was one of those jobs where it's like, oh, even though we weren't in a ton of scenes,
The scenes that you're in are totally memorable.
yes, the scenes are like that, you know, totally memorable in that scene. I mean, and I just got such a great compliment from
Is
John
there's
Carpenter.
the shot. There's
There
the
it
shot
is.
right there.
Like, that's the shot. That's the money shot right there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Crow all beaten and bloody, and he looks
All
up
beaten,
and
yeah.
he sees you grinning at him.
Yep. So good. So
Yeah.
fun. You know, and it's like, it's weird what it does to you because when you work all night and then you sleep all day,
right?
You truly feel like a vampire. Like, I was like, I feel like a vampire. Like, we'd work from 5 at night until 5 or 6 in the morning and then go back to the hotel, go to sleep, get up at like 2,
Right.
eat something, and then go to set.
Right.
Step into the role.
Yeah.
Just in it, you know.
Nocturnal
it's like,
lifestyle,
thank
I've
God
been
for
there.
blackout curtains in a hotel.
Graveyard shift.
Now, you see, this is an especially good shot. See, this is what I love about Blu-ray
Yeah.
too, and 4K and that sort of a thing. You get to see the detail in the makeup.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, if you're watching something like a Lucio Fulci film, like Zombie, you'll see like a little piece of gauze or
Right.
something sticking out. Things that will remind you, oh yes, this isn't rotting flesh. It's
Right.
It's makeup, and it makes it feel slightly less like a horror film, a little bit more like a
Documentary?
fantasy.
Or fantasy.
No, a fantasy, right?
I just want to say, Margene, if you're ever in a movie and they need 4 old guys to get killed off, call us.
Okay. Sounds good. Hey, well, you know, Satan's Atlantis, we're going to kill a lot of people.
Call us. We'd be there.
No, yeah, most definitely. But here you're looking at Greg Nicotero's makeup, and man, that holds
I
up
know,
to
right?
scrutiny.
Yeah, look
It's
at the
freaking
veins.
amazing.
You go deep.
I'm like, damn.
You know, and that whole process of getting us in makeup, they like my particular makeup artist,
Yeah.
you know, they airbrushed us. They did the coat of the base paint first, and then he airbrushed all of those veins, like
Damn.
airbrushed everything. And it was just like, man, you're freaking awesome.
That's
It's friggin'
incredible.
awesome. It's so classic. It's like the happy vampire. Look at so happy.
Yeah.
But then, like, look at your neck and
Yes.
your chest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like this is awesome. This movie
Yeah.
was great.
He was amazing. He did such a great job. He just did, what was it that he just
Creepshow?
got a job on some big film over in Europe. I can't even remember what it is. It was a huge film.
Really?
Really happy for him. Yeah.
Well, he works. I mean, that's a busy guy right there,
Yeah.
man. That's a busy guy. That's a very busy man. He also
Yeah.
did the Creepshow series that's on Shudder. Created the series and
man.
kind of uses it like obviously you could tell it's like, oh, he wants to start doing like more monsters because
Right.
there's a lot of monsters.
Damn, I still haven't watched that, man. I got to check that out.
It's
Oh.
it's good. Well, it's an anthology series, so some of the stories are better
Yeah.
than others. The ones that are really good are really good, though.
I love me some monsters, man. And
Yeah, me
I
too.
love the Creep Show.
Oh,
and
dude,
Ghost in the
Monster
Crypt,
Kid,
so.
Monster Kid to the core. I was that little kid reading Famous Monsters of Filmland and building the Aurora Monster model kits and all that stuff. And I'm what can I say? I'm still that kid.
Hell yeah.
And thank goodness it's like the best time and the worst time to be a horror fan, because I mean, while there are still great horror films being made right now, there's such a glut of them. It's sometimes you miss like the gems, like
Right.
my friend Chris always says, he's like, in like 10 or 15 years, then we're gonna know what we should be watching that's from right now.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yep.
like, because horror was dead during the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's one of the things that was also great about this. It was just like, all right, we're getting some horror back. And also, we're getting some monsters back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Because the slasher film had already started to make a comeback. And, obviously, you did have some great ones like Interview with the Vampire. I love that movie.
Mhm.
But
I do
boy,
too.
this is, I mean, it's I think it's spectacular. But boy, you get a very this and that couldn't be more different
Right.
in terms of tone or
Totally.
in terms of the vampires, right? Because even though the vampires in this are very, very attractive, very good looking, and sharp, snappy dressers.
Yeah, but in the other one
They're
is
just
more. The other one is
monsters.
more the vibe of I want to marry a vampire, while this one is more the scary vampire.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or even Bram Stoker's, where it's like a romance movie,
Mhm.
Yeah. Which I understand that that's part of the Dracula mythos now.
Yeah.
No, it's also one of the reasons why I like another movie that a lot of people don't like about vampires. See, I like them. I don't know. It's Vampire just Untold.
Oh, Dracula.
Dracula Untold.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I
Matt
like
really
that one.
likes that one too.
Yeah.
I
I
saw
really,
it.
really liked that one. It was a different
Yeah, fun.
aspect of him, and I really liked it.
I saw
Okay,
it, but I don't
so-
remember it really.
In these last few minutes,
Haven't seen it.
let me take it, B. Let me take it from you, bro.
Pops, please take over, brother, man.
I'm taking it from you.
Margie,
no,
what do you
start-
do
start-
now?
start.
What do you do when you're not
What
stunting and acting?
don't I do? I mean, I have a couple of different things I do. I mean, I've spent the last 16 years leading personal development seminars and teaching people to, get over their blocks and crap like that, to be able to fulfill their dreams or find their purpose or, build their self-confidence, and traveled the world doing that. And now I have a part-time gig working at a gun range where I'm learning more about firearms and things like that, and taking people through this process of handing them to a range safety officer so that they can go out on the range and shoot. We have over 75 different firearms in our company, and anywhere from flintlock to fully automatic. So there's that.
Cool.
And then one of my best friends is writing a project, a pilot for a series called Satan's Atlantis. And so
wow.
I'm acting as producer on that. And that's the project that's like, it's pretty fucking kick ass. It's the story of Satan's spirit guides who are commissioned to keep him in hell so he doesn't wreak havoc on on humanity, but he escapes. So it's about their journey of trying to find him in the third dimension to get him back to hell before he actually has the ability and gains enough power in the third dimension to create his utopia called Satan's Atlantis, where there is no God.
That sounds dope. That
Yeah,
sounds
that's far out.
So yeah,
You can
so
kill
it's
us
a
off
journey
in
of
it.
these,
I
of these
promise.
six
You can't.
spirit guides that are just like, what the hell is happening here? You know?
That sounds
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. But also, I mean, if you're out like helping people chase their dreams and helping them get
totally.
actualized, that is the best gift that you can give yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like
really,
the most
yeah,
rewarding
it's awesome
thing in the world.
I mean, it's awesome. It's like one of the things that I did that primarily I was teaching over the last 16 years is a course called Enlightened Warrior Training Camp. And Enlightened Warrior Training Camp is all about your personal power, but in the enlightened aspect, not just out there, like being a warrior and like kicking people's asses like I did as Arena, or these other characters. It's like, it's the enlightened part that is, that was the most important part. It's like, how are you going to be in this situation when you're confronted with something that's bigger and an obstacle that might be bigger than you? We always have this saying, it's like people are afraid of heights, but they're still standing on the ground and they've never been up on, on anything higher than 3 steps of a ladder. But when you look up and you're looking at, something that's 20 feet above ground or 30 feet above ground, and you're going to go climb up that and you're going to go walk across that. They're like, no, I'm not. It's like, yeah, you are. And this is how you're going to do it, because they have that fear, and the fear is just the anticipation of pain. So they're thinking, oh, I'm going to get up there, I'm going to fall down. It's like, well, we take precautions. Nothing we do is dangerous.
Right.
It's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you the tools to be able to get up that ladder, to walk across that platform and go, oh my God, I didn't know that I could do that.
And this is where they're saying, do not try this at home, kids.
That's right. That's like they say in stunts, they flip a car, they blow up a car, they, all this. Do not try this at home.
In French, we have an old saying, c'est arrangé avec le gars des vues. Technically, what it means, it's fixed by the movie guy.
Yeah.
So, it's like nothing's real in there. Like, try and break a glass, punching a car glass for fun, see what how that happens.
But this is the thing that I discovered, like working in the mental health industry, is that people have way more power than they realize.
That's right.
Yeah.
They do.
And when they start to discover it, that's the shit right there.
That is the mind.
Yeah.
If you unlock that part of the mind.
Yes.
And it's
they
not
can do
until you
so much more
discover
than they realized.
And it's not until you discover it that you start running into them big obstacles she's talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
then it's like, hey, I've got the skills, I've got the tools. It's like, hey,
power through, baby.
Our motto is over, under, around, or through. Whatever it takes, I'll do.
Yeah, it's like when somebody. It's like when I'm surprised when somebody tells me when they're 30 something. Go, I don't know how to swim. I'm like, what the fuck are you waiting for? You never jump in the water. What the fuck?
The planet's mostly made of water.
It's like you never jump in the pool. Go, yeah, but swim, motherfucker.
Right? It was the end of a NASCAR race once on a short track. And Rusty Wallace spun out of turn 4. Okay, and there's a huge cloud of smoke, and everybody behind him hit the brakes. And he drove out of the cloud of smoke and won the race. Okay. Nobody powered through it. Nobody kept their foot in the gas and drove through that cloud of smoke. Dude did a full 360 and everybody went,
here I go.
Okay. Dude, you power through it. That's been one of my sayings for forever.
Yeah. You have to.
Let's go around. Sim, tell people where they can find you, brother.
You can find me anywhere under Simon Simpotier, Sim Inkslayer, or just Inkslayer. You go find me on my channel on YouTube, where I do the Weekenders, the Doodle and Chill, plus the Inkslayer art show. Go sign up for the Hellzone horror sci-fi story that's going to be coming out this month or the beginning of February. I'm going to be launching Tales from the Adverse 2-Second Chance campaign, and this year there's going to be a colored version of Blood Hunt, and I have a few other projects that I'm going to be launching at the same time. So please go sign up And your support means the world to me.
Ink
Because I wouldn't be
Slayer?
able to do this if you guys wouldn't. Yep.
Is that Ink Slayer?
Sim Ink Slayer. Yep. And I also have a website called inkslayerintertainment.com.
And take your shirt off.
Mr. Matt Burke.
It's an in joke, more.
It's an inside joke because of it. When we started doing all this streaming, there's one, it was very hot here, and I don't wear a shirt when I'm freaking working. And they go, turn your camera on, and I'm like, turn the camera on. What's up? And everybody was like, you're naked? Like, this man is wearing no shirt being naked.
Remember it was on your birthday? Yeah. We all took our shirts off.
Yeah, I think I remember a shit. I remember a show like that once where they even had me take my shirt off.
Yeah, that's the stream that he's talking about. Like we're doing like a launch stream or something. It was for And they're like, take your shirt off. And I'm like, Brian, if you want me to take my shirt off on stream now, you take off yours, and you take off yours, and everybody did.
That's right, man. Because and you earn that love, Sim. You earn that love.
Thank you.
Speaking of somebody that earns love, Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to start out this video by saying.
Okay, that was not Matt.
Sorry. I'm trying to find everybody. I'm like, just go to YouTube and punch in a bunch of things, and then someone starts talking. I'm like, wait a minute.
Every one of these guys could make it easy and just drop their link in the.
That'd be super great for the non-techie chick over here.
Tell her about what you got, bro. Tell her about Butch Cleaver.
For sure. If you guys want, you can check out my book. It's called Butch Cleaver 1 and 2. It's you can pick it up on butchcleaver.com. It's it right here. It's about a butcher who gets killed. He's brought back to life by a voodoo curse, and that curse gives him the power to weaponize bone on a molecular level. So he tries to use that power for revenge, reckoning, and possibly redemption. The next few backers are going to get a metal bottle opener. You're also going to get this poster too with the book. And if you guys want, you can find me on Twitter at Runecutter Comic. You can also check out my YouTube channel. It's Metal Movies and Brewskis, where I talk about metal, movies, brewskis, and comics. And thanks again, Brian, and everybody for having me today. It was a blast.
Oh, you got it, brother. And real quick, Made in Hell, what up, darling? Good that you could join us.
What's up, mate?
So cool.
Margine.
Yes.
Tell everybody where they can find you if you want them to.
Oh, you can find me right here. Right here. I'm never going away. Never going away.
Yeah.
You can find me on my website, margineholden.com. You can find me on Facebook, Margine Holden Fans. You can find me on Instagram at Margine Holden. I know, very creative names, but easiest way to find me. Just punch in Margine Holden somewhere and it'll come up, right?
KISS. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yes. I was one of those people where, all my friends were like, somebody just bought my domain name. I'm like, oh, let me see if someone bought mine. Nope. Great. I'll take it.
There you go. There you go.
And you guys know what I do. I try to bring people together. This has been a blast.
Yes,
it has.
Some other things might come out of this. We was talking a little bit before the show. Some other things might even come out of this. So y'all just stay tuned to the Madness Comic Network because I'll be here working.
Can you just share my screen for a sec? I'm sharing that cover for Hellzone because I mentioned it but I didn't show it.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's
Well, happy New Year, Maiden.
So it's colored by me. It's pencil by me, ink by Scotsman, colored by yours.
Nice.
I'm telling you, dude, I like your stuff best when you ink it. I mean, when you color it. And that's not to take anything away from Beacon and Inky and Scotsman because they're amazing. But I just like your stuff best when.
And Darko's just like, please come back and talk about all the other stuff too, because like I said, there's so much, guys. I just don't know. There's so much.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. What were the odds?
What? I know. Silent Night, Deadly Night. 4.
Brian, tell them who you are and take us out, bro.
Oh, first of all, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out. We really do appreciate you.
Awesome.
You can find me on the Twitter at Brian Christgau. You can find me on the Facebooks at Brian Christgau. You can also check out my campaign for Six Gun Gorilla. Volume 2 trade paperback, The Great Silence, currently in demand on Indiegogo. So there's something for everybody on there, whether you're new to the world of Six Gun Gorilla or if you just want the last 2 issues, because this will be the end. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. We really do love and appreciate you. You gonna take us out, Pops?
No, you got this.
I can't.
Oh,
I don't think I got.
He's like, I can't.
Because I gotta do the classic.
You still got to lead up to it.
Okay.
You got to do your normal out.
All right, everybody. Once again, peace, love. Because we love bitches.
The doctor is in, baby. This is Doc Blalock, and you're watching the Madness Comic Network.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
Of the Pale Rider anyway? Is it a comic book? No, that's not it. Is it this? What the heck is Path of the Pale Rider, man? There's no way this is right. How about this? I have no idea.
We're gonna rob a bank.
Oh, it's this.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.